Directly to You, where we talk about Nintendo stuff. I'm joined by Parker.
What's up?
And also Daniel from
That's
That
me.
Cyber channel.
That's me. I did it. I showed up.
Yes, he did. He showed up to our house, and we need housekeeping for that house. If you want to support this channel, if you want to support this channel, you go to youtube.com/fanatics for a different channel from this one. If you're not subscribed to Directly to You and you're an audio listener, maybe you should do that because we're on video now. But anyway, you could become a member for $4.99. You get exclusive emotes, you get loyalty badges, you get gaming time with us, you get free Switch keys from time to time, you get access to our supporter-only Discord. If you're not part of Discord, you should join it too. We have that link in the description. We ask for questions for this very podcast, and you can participate in content. Okay, that's all that stuff. What's going on with you guys?
Well, I mean, you said housekeeping. I'm like, you don't want me to clean any house. That's a terrible idea.
So have you been cleaning your house? Is that what you've been doing this week?
I mean, we're T-minus 2 weeks to the wedding, and it is crunch time. So we handled all the legal stuff today, and now it's all the
sounds fun.
Yeah, all the favors and stuff, and oh my god, there's so much.
Don't want to think about
not enough coffee.
Man, laugh.
Just clap. Just say we're married, and there you go. It's done.
The temptation to just kind of after the whole process to just kind of look and go, I mean, we're here. We could just get married here and it's done.
Like, it's got to be common law at this point, you know? Like, we've been living together long enough, you know?
At this point in time, it's assumed.
Yeah. So, Dan, no video games confirmed.
That's not true, though. I did manage to. I went through and I played Doom 2016 again.
Nice.
Same video game that you played for years.
It doesn't matter. It's so good, and I love it. And
aren't you doing like? Are you still doing a video about the movie? You're going to do.
I've teased the Doom movie review for a while. It's still on my short list of things to do. But
when you say the movie, do you mean the 2005 one? Okay,
yeah,
not the whatever the thing coming out in like
the new one that looks just as bad.
Maybe I don't know.
No, it looks awful. I don't think
they're gonna look real bad when that movie comes out, because like every time somebody says something about The Rock, they like tweet like something snarky or whatever, and it's like, dude, like you guys are going to look bad when this movie sucks and he's not involved. You know?
It's the whole idea of every time they try to do a Doom movie, they keep trying to make this like, how do I describe it? From the perspective of the actual Marines or something fighting the demons and all that. We're not interested in that. We're in the Doom guy like ripping and tearing his way through everything.
Yep. No, I mean, it's just like the little bits and pieces we've seen so far for the Monster Hunter movie. Like, hopefully those are kind of out of context, but it's something along the lines of like, oh, it's real. I mean, it's similar also even to the Sonic movie where it's like, oh, it's Sonic in our world. It's like, we don't want Sonic in our world. We just want Sonic in Green Hill Zone and like that kind of stuff. But like the Monster Hunter one is like some military personnel or something like that hanging out.
They're in a desert or whatever, fighting monsters. I'm like, that's not Monster Hunter. That's just generic.
Yep.
And they have like guns and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a huge Monster Hunter guy, but I'm pretty sure that's not like a tent pole thing.
The only way I can accept that is, I mean, and I honestly haven't played Monster Hunter either. One of my friends is obsessed with it, but the only way I can accept that is like, if that's, maybe one of those, this is how they started out and then somehow they wound up there. And then, 30 minutes into the movie, you'll see that they're all like in the Get Up or whatever. Like, okay.
It's Jumanji.
Yeah, pretty much.
Jumanji it.
Yes.
I look, the perfect Monster Hunter movie is a 3-hour movie where about 2.5 hours of it is just mindless grinding.
Lots of sharpening your sword.
You know what?
I played crafting.
I played about 3 hours of Monster Hunter World, and all of those hours consisted of me trying to connect to Logan and play that. So there's that,
There you go.
That would be an accurate experience for me. You know what? If the movie's terrible, I'm like, hey, it's on par with my experience.
Man.
I now have 2 coffees. My fiance brought me another coffee.
Job, what's up?
I have 2 coffees.
See?
I didn't know you had coffee.
Now you know all of the nonsense is worth it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to do that for a reason.
I'm gonna have to pee in like 10 minutes. I'm gonna be gone for half of this podcast.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true. You're in the 30 club, so it made you pee a lot.
Yeah. Yep. That's why.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Man,
I've heard from Bob. Bob pees a lot too, so I assume that when you're 30, you just have to pee all the time.
When you hit 30, just everything goes to hell.
Yep.
Just hell in a handbasket. Like you wake up achy and everything. It's the worst.
But when you're 30, you still get to play video games. Parker, have you been playing any video games?
I sure have. Good one. Yeah, I've been doing some stuff. I finished playing back through Undertale. I was talking about playing Undertale last week. So I finished my second playthrough of that and realized I didn't meet some of the criteria for the kind of playthrough I was trying to do anyway. So I was like, I'm going to just look up the ending.
I was about to say, you're going to do it again?
So I think I can go back and just go back and do some of those things and then come back to the end game and it'll like reset the ending or whatever. But I was like, nah, I'm good. Are you
going true pacifist or?
I was trying to, yeah, but I ended up just going like normal pacifist.
Spoilers, my guy. Spoilers.
Well, I mean, that's the thing with the true pacifist route is you actually have to go through it neutral. So you actually get the normal ending and then you have to go back and fulfill 2 more tasks.
Yep.
Which I guess I get why they did that, but also at the same time, I don't think they should have done that. It should just be easy.
Yep. Yeah, no, for sure. And it's a short enough game that like playing through it twice is shorter than a lot of other games playing through it once. So like I wasn't too mad about having to play through it twice for any of that kind of stuff. But again, like it's one of those where there's so many small variations that you can just look it up if you want to. And that's what I did for a lot of it, except for, some of it.
Somebody insert the meme about you cheated yourself.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah. But yeah, besides that, so I did that, and then I just started last night playing Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered on the Nintendo Switch.
Have you played it before?
No, this is my first Assassin's Creed game of my entire life.
Wow. Yep. What a one to start on.
Well, and for that reason, like, because it seemed the impressions I've gotten from people seem to be like somewhat people don't like it, maybe because they just don't like it. But then some other people, maybe it was fatigue at that point where they were like, all right, at this point, like we've got enough of it. But if it's a good game, but it's just a fatigued formula, then maybe like I wouldn't notice, by starting out with it. It's my first one with it. So, I'll find out in any case. I'm only probably about maybe like 3 hours in. And so far it seems to be pretty handholdy's not quite the right word, but like very just like go to this point, and like showing you every single place that you need to go to and stuff. And it's possible. I haven't really tried to kind of like veer off of that, but I also don't want to like accidentally start up 20 different side quests and then not fulfill them. So I haven't figured out exactly how I'm going to play yet, but so far, yeah, it's fairly fun. The moving around, but like the platforming and all that is quite interesting. Doing the jumping and climbing and things. Yeah, that's about my experience with that so far. But I'll fill you guys in later on it.
I played it on Wii U because it was one of the Wii U launch titles. And it was like one of those games where like pretty much everything I had on my Wii U was like rated M for mature. Like we were and it's
classic Wii U. I mean, exactly as Wii U should be.
Yeah, exactly. Like I had Zombie U and then Assassin's Creed and then Call of Duty and that like all that stuff, right? And I was like, all right, like
was your mentality so that you could support those so more of them would come, or because you actually
it was just because like that was what I got, or it was
because like, AJ's rated M for mature.
Yes, because I'm the grittiest of gritty. That's all I play.
I can't wait for the Fanatics 4 gritty reboot.
Yeah, exactly. It's coming. It's coming. We talked about something that might cause that to happen. Yeah. But yeah, And then like it got to the point where it's like, all right, I gotta get the Mario game because I didn't want to get New Super Mario Bros. U because I was like, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
But then it was like I had all these games, and I was like, nah, I need to get a palate cleanser. But yeah, that was my experience with Assassin's Creed. Also, I was mad because it was another one of those like Xenoblade Chronicles X situations where it's like I just want to play as the thing on the box.
Yeah, right.
Like, I'm starting this game and I'm this dude, and I'm like, I don't want to be you, you know?
Yep.
And then also, like, that's when the naval stuff started, and I don't care about that. I don't want to be in a boat.
No one wants to be in a boat.
Exactly. Like, Dan, you know how I get on boats due to our experience with Sea of Thieves. All I want to do is get drunk and vomit all over the place.
Essentially, the only boat you can take AJ on is a cruise, and so you can lock him in his room, and he'll be fine.
Yeah. Were you watching that stream, Parker?
I don't think so.
We were playing Sea of Thieves, and me and Bob just did not care about this game. So we're just being dumb the whole time. It was hilarious.
I was trying to enjoy what this game had to offer, and they immediately wrote it off and just started drinking. I'm like driving the ship, doing the sails.
That's the pirate life, my guy. Getting drunk.
I mean, the thing is that you guys had the right idea in the end. You made the call. That's how I should have treated it from the beginning.
This is true. This is true. We're visionaries.
Yep.
I haven't played anything. I just been playing Smash Brothers. I got Sega sent me Sonic Team Racing, but I'm playing that with Bob on Sunday. So tomorrow when this uploads. And I want to do like a kart racing video thing. So I'm waiting for Crash Team Racing to come out. And Activision send me that.
Oh, you're gonna do a kart video, huh?
Yeah.
Excuse me, I need to do some rewrites. I have that banked. I have that in my folder. I bought what?
Let's just do it together. Let's just,
I don't know if you want to play. Yeah, no, you should play the games with me. I grabbed some real surreal garbage. Hold on.
I was going to do good ones. I was going to just do the ones that are good. But I mean, we could do the bad ones on your channel.
Yeah, we'll do the good on yours and then the bad on mine because I have Miracle Space Race.
Nice.
For PlayStation and Hooters Road Trip.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I was just going to do the ones because, I mean, there's 2 kart racers coming to Switch within a month of each other. So I'm like, let's just like compare all the ones and see which one's the best one to buy still. It's probably going to be Mario Kart 8. Spoilers.
It's who knows? It's going to be that.
Who knows?
Well, I mean, speaking of Mario Kart, though, unless you have anything else you were playing, some new Mario Karts.
Just Smash Brothers,
Yep, classic. To hop into our new stuff, just because this is related, did you guys see all the stuff about Mario Kart Tour?
Yes.
I saw some of it.
Have you? So you haven't played any of it, Dan, either?
No, I
have not. AJ has not.
I realized I probably should have used my special ambassador powers to get in on it.
I mean, it doesn't even have anything to do with that for me. It's just
I think it's your special Android having powers.
Well, I mean, I got one of the special Android powers.
Yeah. Neither one of us do. And I had to double check. I was like, Parker, what is your phone? And he was like, got an iPhone. I was like, well, rip. And then I looked on Twitter and I was like, Dan uses an Android. Maybe he played it.
No, I tried looking for it and I couldn't find it. So I don't know if I started searching too early. It's a closed beta, so there's no.
There's like a sign up thing. If I would have knew that you were dumb, I would have said it to you.
Thanks.
No problem. Anytime, Dan.
I would be nothing without AJ. I wouldn't be an ambassador. I wouldn't be a contender. I wouldn't be followed by Reggie. Oh God, Reggie following me is because of you. God,
this is true. These are facts.
Oh. This is too much of a debt I owe you. I don't like this.
No, you don't. I just like helping people,
Yeah.
And now you get to play the good kart racers instead of just the bad ones. Wow, what a privilege.
Yeah.
Man.
So, I mean, from what I saw, I don't know how I feel about it. I think portrait mode's weird, right? I'm not wrong to think that's the weird way to play.
I think it's weird generally, but because Nintendo's like whole thing is like we want to like emphasize the power of each individual platform, you know, not like on a technical level, but like what makes this thing worth using. And to them, and I mean to a lot of people, the power of it is that you can be like, I gotta be on this train, play this game, and you can sit there and you play it on your phone with one hand. You don't got to do the whole thing with the gyro control. Like you can just play it with one hand and be good.
I did it. Like I did it.
Yeah, but like
what?
Right, but if you're on the bus and you gotta hold on to the thing, you can't do that with one hand.
Okay, fine. All right. I like I'll give you that. That's fair, but still. I guess because my commute is literally walking out of my bedroom and stumbling into my office. I don't. Right. Yeah, so maybe I can't relate anymore. So I'm so off the grid, guys.
Man, but yeah. So here's just to keep talking about because I've got some possibly controversial thoughts on it. But so some details. Yeah, it'll be fun. Some details about it. So yeah, played in portrait mode, just like Dan said. It auto accelerates. It sounds like also it's got the two settings on for Mario Kart 8 pretty much where like A, it auto accelerates, and B, it like stops you from bumping into the corners.
Oh no, I bumped a little bit.
So you can still you still turn with either your finger or thumb or whatever, or you can use gyro, and then but it'll like stop you from hitting the corners or falling off the track or whatever. Something else. There was something else I was about to say, but in any case,
drift, because I know that drifting's in it.
I wonder. So it sounds like either if you turn long enough, it'll automatically drift if you have it on automatic, or I think on manual. I'm just guessing based off of like how you could do it starting in at least in Double Dash it was like a main way to do it. But I mean in all the Mario Karts, like turning into the turn and then turning out of it, but still holding onto it. So I wonder like if with my phone, guys, this is again why you should watch the video part and not just the audio, because here it goes. Like if you go like and then you turn, but then you still hold on to it and you move your finger back, maybe it'll drift it that way. I don't know.
So Philip Mewson, the guy
I do, yeah.
Guy. He said
the guy.
He's playing that apparently. He said if you're playing the Mario Kart Tour beta, I highly suggest trying a few races with gyro controls turned on. It gives you a lot more maneuverability when used alongside the standard touch controls, which makes it much easier to control your drifts.
Interesting.
While pulling off mini turbos.
Huh.
That's what he said.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like mechanics of the racing part from everybody that's played it sounds like Andre from Game Explain also was seeming to say like race wise works pretty well. Like, it's not ideal in some ways in that it's not, it's not the same as playing it obviously on the Switch or, any other Mario Kart game.
That would be dumb if they on their end.
So yeah, I guess and then so the last bits of just info is just all the gacha mechanics stuff. So there's a lot of different currencies and blah 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 blah. So I think there's like 2 different currencies that I don't know why exactly, but there's emeralds to do with something and something else to do with something, and then you got stamina, so you can only do like a certain number of races in a certain amount of time, I guess. And then other stuff like that. And it's got mostly like old courses, and it's got more or less Mario Kart 7-ish graphics. So yeah.
See, the thing about the microtransactions, I blame the consumers for that, because Nintendo tried, like they tried to like make a stand and be like, we're going after premium experiences, and we're going to price our mobile games as such, where we give you this upfront cost where you have a couple of courses or levels that you can play through with Mario Run at first, and then you pay the $10 or whatever to get the full game. And people are like, I don't want to pay money for a mobile game. And they're like, well, we have to make money on this thing that we spent money to make. So we got to find a way for you to spend money on it. And that's how people are spending money.
Yep.
That's why I don't mobile game very often at all now. Is like I can't keep track of these random currency mechanics for each one, and I can't. I got Switch.
I think that's exactly the point too. Is that all of the mechanics that are in it? We're looking at from the perspective of a console gamer that like wants to play kind of just wants to have, I guess, the convenience of that game on our phone for the couple of times we wouldn't be able to have our Switch with us, I suppose. I don't know, something like that.
Yeah.
And then at that point, like, again, looking at some of Andre's tweets and stuff, because he was talking a good bit about it, so it was a decent source. And he was saying like, yeah, now I've gotten this far and now I've just got to wait a while. Like I can do a bunch of races, but was saying it as if it sounded like he was sitting down and playing for like 2 hours straight.
Yeah.
Which the average mobile gamer, that's not how you do that. So I kind of feel like, kind of going with what you were saying, AJ, where like Nintendo tried the right way, or the
way that we're used to.
Yes,
the right way.
Yeah. But now they're just kind of going into what, honestly, like, besides hearing about stories where like one lady spent $9,000 or like put $9,000 on a credit card on Candy Crush, or something like that. Besides hearing those kinds of stories, maybe it's just a different circle for me or whatever, but like I don't feel like I hear a lot about how people like just hate Candy Crush and Angry Birds and like some of those kinds of games for their monetization mechanics. I think people definitely do, but at the same time, it's not as, I don't know. I
think the general public doesn't care. You know?
Yeah.
I think more than anything, they hate that upfront cost. They hate thinking about like I have to spend $10 on this, but they'll spend $1 at a time. That's
and then they're up to $100.
It's boiling the frog.
Exactly.
It's the boiling frog situation. So I get it, and this game is technically not for us.
Right.
Like the whole reason why they do this is for conversion, really. To be like, oh, you like this? You can get an even better version of this on the Switch.
And not even just that it's better, but also, definitely that it's better, but definitely that like, oh, and you can play it for longer, and like it's something where part of the incentive of the console version of the game, the actual game, is the fact that you buy in and then it's done, and then that's great. Which is honestly why, in the world of console gaming, that really sucks to have loot boxes and stuff in there, because that you do pay $60 for a game and then are assumed to then spend a bunch more money to be able to keep playing it. But with mobile games, it's easy enough to just be like, I'm just going to switch between these 3 games that like, all right, I used up my 3 stamina for this thingy. I'm going to go over to Angry Birds now, use up my stamina for the other one. And like, it's just, not a big deal on that front. But again, if you're looking at it in the similar way to a console game, then it is a big deal and it sucks.
Just play Mario Kart 8.
Yeah. Because at this point in time, so you do your Mario Kart races, and then you hop over to Animal Crossing and you get a few things building, and then you head over to Fire Emblem Heroes, and then you run your stamina out there, and then you run to Dragalia
Lost.
You're a fake Nintendo ambassador.
I just never had to say the name out loud ever in my life.
Get them to give it to Bob.
No, they won't take them.
There's no.
You think Bob know how to say Dragalia Lost?
No, he would not.
Dragalia Lost.
Dragalia Lost.
Why'd you get really southern all of a sudden?
Hey man, comedy knows no bounds.
I love it.
But there's so many games to hop between now that it's just the stamina is so minimal of an issue at this point in time, unless you're really, really into that Mario Kart.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think the
just like, if you're playing a mobile game for 3 hours at a time, you just like, it's not mobile at that point.
Yeah.
Like,
stop watching Netflix and playing mobile games and just play the damn game.
Yeah. Like, come on.
And I think too, like, I don't know what aspect of it. There's the collecting lots of characters and that kind of stuff thing that is in this game. There's a lot of different characters, it sounds like, but that's something that like the mentality of I'm going to finish and complete and get everything out of this game and like get to a finishing point. You know how like anytime when Star Wars Battlefront 2 came out and people were saying to get everything in the game, you would need to put in either 6,000 hours or this much money or whatever.
Yeah.
For console games, that's a big deal because part of it is the completion. Like I want to be somebody who has completed this thing, who has gotten everything, and like that's just a part of the experience. Whereas with mobile games, Candy Crush, I think, has like, I don't know, like 4,000, 5,000 levels or something like that. So the idea is it should have more than you can ever complete. Ideally, you know, like you can pay for sure to beat Candy Crush, but but ideally, you know, you should be able to just have enough content to keep going. And so at that point, just the mentality switch of like, oh, I'll keep getting things is a benefit rather than a detriment.
That's the thing. Like, that's the one thing that seems weird to me about the character thing. Because like when I think Mario Kart, I'm not trying to play as everybody. I don't even pick Mario characters in Mario Kart. I just pick my me, and that's it. You know, like So like I don't understand that part. I mean, I get it on the monetization end of it, you know. But
and it sounds like playing the different characters is incentivized in this one too, where like Toad on the Toad circuit is able to get 3 items when he goes through a question mark blocks. Whatever, instead of just 1 item where everybody else can only get the one. So whoever's playing on their own track like gets bonuses from that. So it's
dumb.
Which is, you know, then incentivizes getting more characters and stuff like that, which is, I mean, a little bit pay to win at that point.
Which I think, I mean, unless it is like a pay to win sort of scenario, but there was like rumors, I guess, about like the game not being online multiplayer,
right? Which is
like,
interesting.
But if it's online multiplayer, that's dumb. Then everybody's just going to pick Toad on Toad's whatever level. Turnpike. Which one is it?
I hate the concept of metas, just like in competitive games. I understand. I mean, logically it makes sense why metas exist. Like you're number crunching, and you're like, oh well, these are the like mathematically and mechanically, these are the best characters. And I've always hated that. There's just no way to get around that. But this is just basically saying, like, play in the meta or die.
Right.
Lame. I mean, maybe it's fine. Maybe you get them fast.
Any game that has any type of, like, diversity in their character pool or, you know, anything like that is inherently going to have some sort of level of tiers. Because otherwise everybody's going to play exactly the same, which in Mario Kart isn't that weird, you know, like pretty much already do. There's like different weights and stuff like that, but for the most part, like if you can do well with one character, you can do well with most of them.
I mean, that's why like it's always going to, well, not the only reason, but one of the reasons why it's always going to be more interesting to watch a Smash Ultimate tournament than a Smash Melee tournament, because in Melee, I mean, there's fewer characters, but also there's fewer high tier characters where there's just like, you know, the same 4 characters are going to get used in the tournament. Exactly. But then, you know, you'll get Wario in Ultimate or whatever, winning a tournament, or you'll Peach or whoever, I don't know, whatever. So that's just fun, and it leaves diversity for who you're going to fight against, who you're watching, and all that kind of stuff, which is good.
Yes.
Agreed.
Also, like this confirms one thing to me, where it's like, are we going to see like some type of look into where their heads at for Mario Kart? I don't think that's the case for Mario Kart. I think that this is very much so looking backwards and then being like, let's bring like Mario Kart 7 more or less to mobile, less so than like this is like a glimpse at where we're thinking. It should go, because like in a way Animal Crossing Pocket Camp sort of was that, where it's like, all right, where's our head at looking forward, because then they took some stuff from Pocket Camp and then brought it over to New Leaf.
Oh, interesting. Wait, really? When? I didn't know the timeline on that. Or so, because New Leaf had come out like lots of years, but like was it as DLC or something?
And they also released like a revision or whatever of like the hard copy of the game where it's like on the camp or some crap like that. I forgot what the thing was.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I can't see the only mechanic I could see them kind of testing out for the next Mario Kart would be the idea that certain characters get more or less items depending on track, but that seems like a real stupid move.
I'm with you there.
I have a hard time believing that's what they could possibly be testing. I think
Mario Kart is like one of those games that it's hard for pretty much anybody to be like, okay, but what are they going to do next? You know, because who would have called Double Dash? Who would have called Mario Kart 8? You know, like where their spins are. There's a lot that they could do, but it's hard to say like where they would definitely. Because like if you look at a game like Pokemon, you could see like, okay, these are the improvements that they could make.
Right, and the missing elements, as it were, or whatever. Yeah.
Whereas Mario Kart is just like, let's just throw some wild stuff at the wall, man. Let's, you know, anti-gravity. Why not? Gliders, sure. Underwater, yes, let's do that, you know? But like, none of it is like, oh, that's a natural progression, you know? You have one racer, why not have two? You know, like
yeah, it is interesting. I'm a little bit. Did you guys expect that Mario Kart Tour was going to be as? Because I mean, we also had thoughts that like, okay, maybe it's not going to be a Mario Kart game, you know, in the traditional sense. Maybe it's going to be like an idle racer or something, you know, something more different than that. What did you guys think? Were you surprised that it was exactly what, you know, we should have expected it was going to be?
I was surprised way earlier when they finally confirmed what it was, because like initially like they were kind of cagey about what it was. Like they didn't straight up say like, we're making a Mario Kart game. They were like, we have an app that we're working on, and this was like back in the Miitomo days, where like that was pretty much the only app that they had that was like available when we were starting to hear rumbles about it. So I was like, is this like a supportive thing? You know, like how Metal Gear Solid 5, Destiny, and like all those games have like this ancillary experience for like checking your stats and like all that crap. Is that something like that for the next Mario Kart game, or is it a game? And then once they said it was a game, I'm like, okay.
Yeah. What about you, Dan?
I'm just whelmed by the announcement. I think it's literally the best way to describe it is I'm just, okay, cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I think way back when this stuff was first starting to get announced, Bob and I were talking about, could it be a companion app or whatever? But I think just as time went on, I think it kind of became more clear that it was going to be a game rather than a companion app, because like, I mean, I don't know if you could do a new Mario Kart now, but Mario Kart 8 Deluxe just still has so many years left in its existence. Like getting a new one
just because of like how well it did. Because I feel like they were like, all right, let's put this out and then see how it does. And then if it performs like a port you would expect anyway, then we'll do the next one, and then that'll sell 20 million units. But Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is selling like a brand new game, because for most people it is a brand new game.
And for the people that had already bought it, it's just a platform. So it's like
Mario Kart. You know?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, well, I still need to have Mario Kart.
Yeah. I mean, it's when you get a new Nintendo console, you're picking up the basics, right? You're picking up Smash, Mario Kart, and maybe Mario Party, and those are your couch multiplayer games you're gonna do when people come over and hang out.
Right.
Yep.
They're kind of like must buys in a weird way. And so Mario Kart 8 it's still got years to go. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
So DLC would be nice, but it's fine.
Yes.
Which, I mean, I think that they talked about doing that. I don't know if like in their minds, they fulfilled that promise when they're like Breath of the Wild link. But they did say that they're going to do like downloadable content.
They said we're not done adding things to it or something like that. That's fairly vague.
I think in everyone's mind they thought DLC, but I think in their mind they thought like small cross promotion stuff.
Which is like, there's no real way of like understanding where their mind's at for these ports, because like Pokemon Tournament just got straight up new fighters, you know. So it's like, who knows, man. I think if they want to keep the game alive in that way, and because like Kimishima, when he was still president, he was talking about how like, and even now, like Furukawa is talking about it too, how they want to support their games long term with DLC.
Yeah.
Which I mean is weird because we still haven't seen that with Mario Odyssey.
Yeah.
But for the most part, like all their big games have gotten some form of DLC.
Still waiting on Delfino. Still waiting on Delfino Plaza for Mario Odyssey. Just throwing it out there. I can't tell Reggie anymore. He won't do anything. So.
Oh man, he's got connections. I hear 1 or 2 from what I know of.
Yeah, I'm sure he knows Miyamoto.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Bowser's in there now, so who knows?
Ooh, he's gonna mess everything up.
Bowser's just gonna like ruin
Bowser won, guys.
Last question on Mario Kart Tour: When do you guys think at this point it's gonna actually come out?
Didn't they say summer? So
I think they said summer.
So like September 12th or something like that.
September 31st. Not even real date.
I mean, it all depends on how well the beta goes, right? If people are digging it, then cool, we get it next month. If it's kind of having some issues, we'll see it at the end of summer.
Yep.
I think sooner than later.
Hopefully, if it has to get delayed, it's for a good reason, similar to the Sonic movie. The Sonic movie got delayed. We just found out about that today. This isn't like huge, talk about it for a million hours kind of news, but
how dare they? Wait, I gotta think of some reason to be mad about it.
I'm just frustrated because it ruins my conspiracy theory. Have I told you guys my conspiracy theory? It's brilliant.
What, that it was just already done? I think that's everybody's conspiracy theory. But
it's
like
the best.
I wouldn't be surprised if that was still true because they didn't delay it that much. They didn't say like, all right, here's a 9-month delay. They delayed it like 4 months.
Yep.
So
maybe they'd given themselves, if nothing else, at least maybe they'd given themselves a window of like, just this is what we're running with. We're going to give this one. If people like this, we can keep going this way, but we've got some backup stuff. So like, we'll put out the trailer. If there's a ton of backlash, we know we can just delay it and it'll be fine. And we'll make it look like we did it on the spot.
But one thing that this does confirm is that they're giving them gloves.
Did they say that?
No, it's in the picture.
Oh,
it's gloves.
I didn't even notice that. That's really funny.
Fire.
I'm just gonna say it. I think it's a mistake. I think it's a huge mistake.
Yeah. To delay it
because I mean I understand that they're probably delaying it for technical issues so they can finish the reworks and all that sort of stuff. But it just continues to, their chances for success are now basically cut in half because it's that trailer built up so much talk around it, so much buzz about it. Everyone's talking about Sonic. By the time 2020 rolls around, we're not going to care. We're going to be like, oh, right, that's coming out this month.
Right.
And so, I mean, if I'm the marketing team, I would maybe try to find one way to put in one more bad Sonic design out there. Or what? I mean, that's all. This is how this movie's going to sell. Is like it's got to pitch itself as a problem.
See, and that's the thing. Like Sonic is an icon because he sucks. Like that's why Sonic's.
You're not wrong.
I'm calling Bob.
You're not
so
wrong.
It's like it's not off brand for this like super divisive thing to be like the representation of Sonic.
Yeah.
So I don't know, like, and I've said it multiple times. Like, Sonic Team doesn't even know how to consistently make Sonic good.
Yeah.
So, like, to expect Paramount to be able to do it is kind of weird,
Do what I say? Scrap the project, give it to Christian Whitehead. I bet you he can make a better Sonic movie.
That's true.
It is surprising to me.
Sonic to Nintendo. Preferably not in the 80s, so they're not just like whatever, dude, just make whatever you want, and then we end up with a Super Mario Brothers level Sonic movie. Now that they care, now that they're like, oh wait, this matters, this will have long-term effects.
This is only tangentially related, but Detective Pikachu movie wise and stuff, I went to go try to see it with my wife again because she was sick and had to leave in the middle of the movie. So I was like, oh well. And so we tried to go and see it again on this past Thursday, and still, like, there were two of the theaters that we were going to go to just didn't have the movie showing because like other stuff was out, and Avengers Endgame still had like 6 showings or whatever. And I was like, that sucks so bad that I feel like Detective Pikachu got kind of crapped on just because Endgame is such a huge thing.
Yeah. I mean, it's still doing well. It's still like the fastest selling, I guess, the best performing movie in the video game situation. So
my only hope with this whole Sonic thing is that I hope Nintendo sees this when they're moving into making the Mario movie, the new one. Because I mean, because of the studio handling it, we know it's going to be all 3D animated, which is how it should have been from the beginning. I think, like, there's very few franchises that I think could go from game to live action.
On the IP. Yeah, I think like Zelda could be fine live action. I think Metroid could be fine live action.
Metroid would be great live action. Yeah, I mean, Last of Us is an easy.
Yeah,
that's too easy.
Kirby, like, of course.
Kirby, of course, clearly, action. And it's a horror movie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Duh. I do think that I'm hoping that Nintendo sees this and sees what they're going through and applies those lessons to the Mario movie. Because ultimately,
I see the Mario movie running into is that they're going to make a kids movie, and that's fine. It's not though, because like there's a section of the Pokemon fan base that's upset that Detective Pikachu is a kids movie. You know,
right? Okay,
where it's like this is the plot is flat and all like because it's for children.
Okay. I mean the thing is like. It's a tricky thing making a kids movie, right? You either go all in on the kids thing or you miss the mark completely, but there's this beautiful middle ground.
Pixar.
Yeah.
Pixar is a studio. Recently, Alyssa and I just watched The Amazing World of Gumball on Cartoon Network. It's such a good show. The jokes are so like the jokes and the colors and everything are like clearly a kid will enjoy this, but any adult watching is like there's some like really heavy existential questions that ask. And you're just like, this show's too smart for kids. What the hell? There's a whole song about how pointless our existence is compared to the entire universe.
Oh my god!
And you're just like, what? But like at the same time, I know Mario's not gonna hit that mark, so it's. At this point in time, the movie needs to look good. It just needs to be visually good looking. And I think that's really, if you want a successful Mario movie, if you can at least hit that bar, we're doing all right. But we're not going to get a really in-depth Mario story when the games can't even provide that.
Yeah. No. I think our best bet is that it's also just funny to adults, at least. Like it's not going to be deep or anything like that. Maybe there will be a down moment or two, like in a good way, that it's like reflective and all that kind of stuff. But it's not going to be deep. But at least hopefully.
What if that's the thing? Mario goes on this journey and he's just like he learns that like Peach just likes to be.
She likes to be the center of the attention.
She likes to be terrible. I mean, I have a absolutely fantastic. I mean. Of course, this sounds like I have the best idea ever, but I think I honestly have like a really good idea of what they could do. So Nintendo, hit me up. I'm free to write. I'm ready to go.
Let's do it. What's the best case scenario first for Sonic? So we can go back to the topic of this. Best possible scenario for Sonic for the movie as it is. I think they're just making Sonic X. That's what I think they're doing.
Yep. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, I know the storyline of Sonic X very well, but you should explain it to somebody else.
It's just this movie. That's what it is, Parker.
It's Sonic goes into another world.
Yep.
It's ours.
He runs into this cop dude, which I think in the show, he's like, he works with cops. but he's like a racer guy. And he's like, man, I'm the fastest racer driving around in the grass.
So dumb.
And Sonic's like, I'm fast. And then he freaking beats him in a race. And this dude's like, what? And then he hates Sonic. And then they come to a mutual understanding and they're best pals eventually. And there's a stupid kid named Chris, and he's annoying. But so is Tails. So like,
yep. I want to do we see Tails or anybody else in this movie? Do we think?
Nope.
Please no.
Yeah,
no.
I doubt it. I mean, if we did, it would be awesome.
They're going to do it for the sequel. What, are you dumb?
No, I am quite dumb. That much I can tell you.
They're going to do Tails in Sonic 2, and then Knuckles in Sonic 3, and Knuckles. That's what they're going to call it.
Now that I'm piecing together the trailers, I'm realizing this is actually just a Dr. Eggman origin story. It literally just explains why he becomes Sonic's like rival.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all this movie's going to be about. And I think actually, if you think about it from that perspective, it might actually be good.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
He's not Dr. Eggman or Robotnik. He's just Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
In Sonic.
Yep.
But you know what else?
Who even is Eggman, though? Like, it's not like he has like this super well-defined personality.
He's about to.
I mean, I would argue that he's a bit more devious and
is he?
Yeah,
I feel like Eggman is pretty stupid, and most of the
I mean, granted, he lacks a lot of common sense, but he's not a. He's
like a Team Rocket, like seasons 1 through 14 or whatever.
I love Team Rocket.
But
you're right. They're really good at. For being so dumb, Team Rocket makes some crazy cool inventions.
Yes.
And then is very dumb.
As soon as you said that, I went like, oh, Dr. Robotnik's like knockoff Team Rocket. Even though he came first.
Yeah.
He did, but he didn't. You know, like,
but he did. Did he really? But did he really?
Because like he didn't have like again in Sonic 1 through 3. He didn't have a personality, you know. He just, and even in that, he was pretty stupid, you know.
Yeah.
Like Eggman has never been. His name is Eggman.
Yeah, I mean that's always the hard part about like having super smart villains is like you have to make them make all these mistakes, which just ends up making them look dumb.
Yeah. I mean, it's like a horror movie, like watching pretty much. If there's a horror movie where the people make smart choices and still get killed by the bad guys or whatever, you know, like respectable, because there's not a lot of them.
Yeah.
Somebody's tripping at some point.
Yep.
Yeah. So someone's tripping. Someone's going to panic open a door that they shouldn't open.
Somebody's going to take a shower while the
guys. As soon as horror is established, you hygiene out the window. You're done. Until that sun rises, you are the biggest slob.
Agreed. Very much agreed. Also, biggest slop. No, I had a transition earlier and then we missed it. Town, the game called Town. We got a screenshot for it. That's right. It's a whole. Probably not. Yeah. But you know, maybe it's like Sim City, but RPGs and whatnot. But we got a screenshot for it. That's about it. Cool. It looks really cool.
Wait, let's use our technology available to us. Let me pull it up.
I mean, I'm looking at it and like, I mean, yeah, I guess there is a screenshot here, but like,
okay,
there we go.
I'm going to show it to you guys. Wait, I forgot how to do this.
Way to go, AJ. But yeah, honestly, I mean, it's not like we're learning a ton. We're not learning much more about this besides we got a trailer last year, and so the screenshot's just a screenshot pretty much. But
here it is.
They haven't forgotten it, so that's nice.
This is the screenshot. Look at it. Look at it.
Oh, look at it.
Beautiful.
Look at that UI.
Yes.
Tasty.
Just look at it.
It's almost like it's all written in Japanese.
Done looking at it.
Done looking at it. So here's my question to you guys. considering Game Freak, blah, 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 has 2 games coming out this year, being Pokemon and theoretically Town.
3 games, you dumb. They came out with
Giga Wrecker Alt.
Yeah.
That's right. 3 games. Do we think this one is going to be like full on like $60, physical game release, or is it because like Giga Wrecker Alt I think it's not a full price and it's not physical, I don't think.
I think that this one's probably going to be like a full on.
I think it's gonna be a full release.
Yeah, just because like they hyped this a while ago.
Yeah.
And Giga Wrecker Alt was not in a Nintendo Direct,
Yeah. Well, and that one's a port too, whereas this one isn't. So that could be something to it, but it's still very interesting. And it does bring it. So I just wanted to mention that screenshot in case anybody was curious about Town and the progress with that. But it brings us into our next actual article, which is the Game Freak is prioritizing original projects more than Pokemon, and
which
stuff like that.
Not true.
Yeah, so that's what I wanted to talk about. I'll read a little bit of this article here. So I apologize. You're about to hear my voice for a minute. So Onue, who is the director of Giga Wrecker Alt and works on the Gear project team, which you'll find out about in a second. It says, there are 2 different production teams here, simply named Production Team 1 and Production Team 2. Team 1 is fully dedicated to Gear Project, while Team 2 for the Pokemon operation. What that means is that Game Freak as a company is prioritizing Gear Project, which is production team number 1 more than Pokemon in general. We're always trying to create something that's equally exciting or more exciting than Pokemon. There's a lot of back and forth between Team 1 and 2. One of the interesting things is that Team 2, which is dedicated to Pokemon, only knows about specific platforms. So with Team 2, engineers can learn about other platforms they might not have touched before. By mixing up the teams, we're able to create this interesting synergy. I'll just keep reading the other bits. He goes on to say, yes, it was totally a refreshing experience when I moved from Pokemon to Giga Wrecker. It's like a paradigm shift. When you're a programmer working on Pokemon, you're one of many programmers. However, as a director on Giga Wrecker, the experience opened my eyes to the other aspects of game creation, all the way up to users and playing the game. It's really difficult to expect a programmer to have that kind of perspective, blah, 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 blah. He says some other things. And finishing up, 2019 will be very exciting, especially following the Pokemon Let's Go titles, which allowed us to start looking seriously at Nintendo Switch as a platform. That was a very important milestone for us, blah, 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 blah. Other things, R&D is a newly founded division, which is creating the basic library, which used to be created every single time we made a project. And he says some other things. I finished up the important stuff a while ago.
Yeah.
So the thing with this that's annoying me is the coverage of this more than anything. Because like the sensationalized title is the like Game Freak wants to, like, they're done. They don't want Pokemon anymore. But like the gist of what he's saying is like, we're trying to like experiment and learn new things. Pokemon's not really a good franchise to do that, because like if we make a change that people don't like, that's our money, money. So we're experimenting with these other franchises so we can see what works and take what works and bring it back to Pokemon. Like that. It's I don't know. It's kind of like saying, like, if somebody has a day job and they use that money to fulfill their dream, they're like, you care more about your day job than your dream. It's like, no, I'm spending all the money that I can from this day job on that dream.
Yeah. Well, the other thing about it is that developing games is a creative industry. And so if you're stuck like making Pokemon games for your entire life, even doesn't matter how much you love that franchise, there's going to be a point in time that you want to take Pikachu out in the back and shoot him in the head.
Yeah.
Like there's just gonna be a point in time where you're just so tired of the franchise and you want to do something different and you want to reinvigorate your creative spark to go back to that platform. So I think it's a great idea to pull, some of those team members into bigger, new, original ideas, so what to be reignited with creativity, and then you go back and then you're looking at Pokemon in a completely different way. And you're seeing things, new possibilities that you would have never seen if you wouldn't have like stepped away for a bit.
Mm-hmm. And especially,
go ahead.
I was just going to say, well, especially with this being coming from the guy who's the director of the team that's doing the creative, fun things, it especially makes sense that he would say this stuff because it's like he's getting to head the charge on the stuff that's like fun and creative and new and different. And so he's having a lot of fun with that. I mean, like, which ties in everything you just said, Dan. And so I don't know, it makes sense that he would say that. But if you talk to Game Freak as a whole, like the director of Game Freak, they'd be like, well, obviously Pokemon's more important for us. Maybe this other team is just more fun to be on, which makes sense because it's more creative, less kind of regimented, I'm sure.
And even taking his quote in context, it still sounds like even he is saying that he's literally saying that his team feels more important, but like he's in a roundabout way saying Pokemon's more important because they use everything that matters from these projects on the thing that matters more, where he personally is like, I hope this becomes the thing, like us making new stuff. Cause like, of course, why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that that's from the top down their priority. And I think
their thought process.
It's like, it sucks because like I agree that they should want to do that.
Yeah.
But it's like I don't think that it's an IP problem. I think the problem is that they're so terrified, and rightfully so, to change Pokemon in any creative way that it does get boring because you're making the same game every 3 years.
Yep.
You can only make subtle changes to the formula, or else everyone's gonna complain. Like they're like, we want something new from Pokemon.
So much more because Breath of the Wild exists.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that Breath of the Wild did well is huge.
And God of War did well. Revitalizing a franchise that has been popular in the past, even if it's not in like a bad situation. Because Zelda wasn't technically in a bad situation. They weren't selling poorly. They just sold as well as they usually did. But Zelda was never Mario.
Right.
Breath of the Wild took Zelda and put it on par with Mario. Because they said, like, this franchise matters. People care about this franchise, but it doesn't matter as much as some of our other franchises. They could look at Pokemon and be like, hey, this is doing pretty well for us. Like, it's not, like, the best it's ever been. It's not the worst it's ever been. But it could be better if we did more.
I think the tricky thing, too, is that with, like, Pokemon and Mario, I mean, and Mario experiments a good bit, but still, I guess, not to the degree that Breath of the Wild, but with Pokemon and Mario, that those are franchises aimed specifically at kids, whereas Zelda is more of like a slightly older notch. But I mean, kids play it too. Like there's my boss's 5-year-old was trying to play Breath of the Wild, and I think it was fairly challenging, but nevertheless was doing some of it. And so, but I wonder if they feel like they have more opportunity for that because they assume that older gamers will accept change more because like they've been around more and they've gotten used to the old formulas and would want more change. But the funny thing is, like, I don't think that's the case. I think kids would just play whatever.
I think the thing is, like, the only people that would be upset I guarantee that it's the minority that feels this way. That's like Pokemon needs to be Pokemon. That's it. But those are the people that are in their they're in our age demographic. They're like, Pokemon has been this, and this is what Pokemon is to me, and this is what it needs to stay. I think kids are like, whatever, dude, just give me a game that's fun.
I mean, I think the one problem that Pokemon's gonna have, where it's like Breath of the Wild and Mario, those can easily experiment and everything because there's no competitive element to it. Whereas Pokemon has a very strong competitive scene as well, and so
does it? I don't know if
okay. I mean, it's strong enough where you would have people, if there was a massive change to how the competitive level of it.
There's a meta in any case,
There's a meta, and there would be people upset by this change because I know when Let's Go came out, I know a lot of people were really concerned about how, because they were talking that it was going to use a little bit of the combat power from Go in it. And my buddy Evan got super pissed that IV stats weren't initially talked about. And then I had to properly inform them that there are IV stats. You just got to go catch a bunch of Pokemon, but those communities are loud. Is the thing.
I think the thing about that though is Pokemon Let's Go still sold over 10 million units.
Yes.
So it's like that current meta may be bad, and they may swear off Pokemon, and they may only play Ultra Sun, and that's the game that they play. But Smash Brothers Melee, that's what happened to that too. You know? And then a bigger, better meta arose in its place. You know, like Pokemon Ultra Sun, that's always going to exist. If that's the meta that you care about, do it. You know, go on Pokemon Showdown and play it like that. But I think that's not a good enough reason to hinder progress.
I agree.
Already is, but the thing that could be is not.
So I mean, and the thing with Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee too is there were probably just as many, because there were a lot of people that didn't buy it because they, you know, didn't think that was correct Pokemon. You know, like we're mad about the form factor and stuff. But I'm sure there were also a number of people that didn't get it because they're like, I just don't want to see Gen 1 again. You know, and they just and so, but if it were a new game with those same mechanics, they'd be like, all right, yeah, why not? Let's do it. Maybe, I don't know. But then, I mean, similarly, there were a lot of people that did buy it.
I don't think Pokemon's pinned up by its mechanics, because I think like if that was the case, and it was like this thing of like the reason why I care about Pokemon is because of it's this turn-based game and blah blah blah. Like nobody would care about the movies, nobody would care about the show, nobody would care about the card game because they don't have those mechanics.
Yeah,
you know.
Right.
Yeah.
People care about Pikachu.
Yes,
that's all. And then they want to put as many hats as possible on the Pikachu.
Exactly.
And rub his hair and tussle it and turn it into something different.
Yeah. Really quickly before, because I've been sitting here staring at this screenshot of town going like, okay, sure, whatever. I guess that's the UI. But I'm looking at it more and I'm starting to piece together what the combat system is. And it's actually really cool. And I'm like way into this because it almost looks like, so you only have 3 hearts, and then you pick a move you're going to do, and then the enemy picks a move, and then each move that you pick has an attack and a defense, and the enemy has an attack and a defense, and those go up against each other, and whoever comes out negative takes a hit to one of their hearts.
You know what could use a battle system like that? Pokemon.
But yeah, actually that would be really,
it would work.
Change everything, yeah.
Just
make Sword and Shield.
Yeah.
Because it has attack and defense stat. So just saying. But yeah, that's it kind of reminds me of some like card games and stuff, which I like card games. I will enjoy Town. I know that much ahead of time for sure. All the things that are about it, it will not be disappointing. But you know what is disappointing?
I hate you.
Resident Evil 4 and the other ones, I guess, on the Switch.
And other ones.
Yeah, I only say this from hearsay and articles and all that good stuff. But yeah, they charged us more on the Switch than the other versions on the other consoles. And
like, all right, I do like. I don't know if I'm like on board with that part of it, like for that being the reason that like, oh, this is disappointing because it's $10 whole more or whatever. Like, it has nothing to do with the fact that it's specifically on the Switch. It's the fact that this is the new one, you know? Like,
well, I guess the question is, when Resident Evil 4 Remastered came out on PS4 and Xbox One or whatever, was it $30 or was it $20 then?
I don't know.
Because if it was $30 then yeah, that's, who cares? That's fine. But if we're just going based off of
it's just like people go off like what the price of a given Switch game is on another platform at the time that platform is 6 years old or whatever. Like, duh, you know.
So I think that's a thing, you know, whatever. If it's more expensive at launch on Switch than it was at launch on the other platforms, then that's annoying. But if not, then if they were also 30 on there, then that makes sense. That's just par for the course and fairly normal. But they kind of just generally missed opportunities as far as doing the motion control stuff and fixing bugs. Yeah, exactly. And I don't know, some other things like that, quality of life things or stuff that would make it be a better version altogether. So
I mean, calling a spade. Capcom support for the Switch is garbage. Yeah. So I don't know why anybody's surprised.
There's a lot of companies that are like, yeah, we're bringing over games, but it's like you are bringing over games, and that's about that.
365 years ago, or like a port of a game that is like the only thing that I would say that they did was fine was Mega Man 11. That was the only thing that's like, yeah, cool, you know.
Yep.
But then we got Monster Hunter Generations again, you know, like.
Yep. And Okami HD, which that's there. I actually just bought that. I haven't started it because I'm playing Assassin's Creed. But like, yeah, there's like they're bringing over games, and it's like games that are good games, but at the same time, they're not doing really any current support in the same way, which is just
Well, I mean, I feel like they would have really tried to make Resident Evil 4 really stand with how successful Resident Evil 2 remake was. Why would you not want to put more effort to make sure your port is really good to build hype for a remake of that?
Yeah.
You're building your base already. We're going into the next console generation when you go like, here's Resident Evil remake, Resident Evil 4 remake, you're all welcome. Or maybe they just want to give us the bare minimum, so when they do announce the remake,
it makes that much better. Exactly.
So maybe honestly, I'm wrong.
I mean, and it could be one of those things where like
next generation games are $70, everybody's going to be pissed.
Yep.
So like my excuse sort of for Nintendo putting out the Wii U ports, just the number they have, like, anytime somebody talks about 2018, they're like, Nintendo didn't put out any games. They put out like Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and that's it. Which, first of all, that's not true. They were like,
my guy,
not true at all.
Yeah, even if it was like a game, it's Smash Bros.
But so they put out Smash, but then like a bunch of other first-party new releases as well. Kirby, whether you like them or not, Kirby, Mario Tennis, Mario Party. Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, and then like Octopath and stuff like that, which isn't theirs, but blah 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 blah. But the reason that I like stand by the ports like Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze and all those guys is the fact that I feel like they're giving us stuff so that they can take more time to work on even better stuff and like improving games for the future. So it's like here's something to bide the time. We could be giving you new games right now, but like may as well just go ahead and give you these while we have them. As an app, it's like breadsticks when you go to a restaurant. Like I could bring out your food when it's not quite ready, or I could like work on the food more, give you some breadsticks to chew on, even though they're not the best thing, that kind of a thing. So like,
I guess, yes, which is like nearly triple the Wii U's install base already.
Yeah.
So like hey, guess what? If you have a Switch right now, chances are you probably didn't have a Wii U. So like, there's no reason to complain about Wii U ports because you couldn't play the games that are on Wii U anyway.
Yeah. So I mean, for that, if I give Capcom that same excuse, then sure, that's fine. Maybe they're working on, but it's one of those things where like until I see it, I can't really do that, because with Nintendo we're seeing still that we're getting these games, but with Capcom, like that's just not happened yet. So like, I
think for Capcom, they're still riding on that typical third-party excuse for Nintendo, where it's like, I don't know if it's going to sell. But I don't know.
And some of the games aren't selling that you're putting on there because they're old games people played before. Even if they're great games, some of them are just old games people played before, and like we don't want to buy them for the fourth time.
It's crazy because I know I brought up the Wii U thing, but for third parties, the Switch is already almost on par with Xbox One in sales.
Yeah, right.
In 2 years.
Yep.
This is ridiculous at this point, where it's like, if it's a given that Xbox One's going to get a game, the console that's outselling it should be a given.
Yeah. I just want to quickly say, because I'm looking at the article that we pulled up for this, and can I just say how disappointed I am that you're at 900p in docked and 600p in portable mode for Resident Evil 4. Yeah. Like, I don't half-ass a video and go like, oh, it's a little too big, I better make that 900p. No one does that.
But like, you know what? I don't feel like exporting this 3 GB file, so I'm gonna like change it so that I have to export less.
Yeah, no,
it's probably what they did. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what they did.
It's just mind blowing to me that like I understand that you want it, like if you don't feel that docked mode's going to give you 1080 and you have to go to 720, then just freaking do it. Don't give me 900 because it seems to me it's like that feels me to more say that if you would have spent a little bit more time, you could have hit that 1080p.
Yeah,
but you quit after 900, and that's
that's like what it always is. Because like you'll see these games that's like Lego City Undercover, right? And that doesn't run perfectly on the Switch. If Breath of the Wild can run perfectly or as well as it does, or Mario Odyssey, Nintendo games run really well on the Switch. Like 1080p and stuff like that. Like pretty much any game, especially a game from last generation, can do that. Just the difference in effort that's being put in. It's like Nintendo is working on just this. That's what they're working on. This other team they're divided and they're working on all this other crap. So they're not willing to put in the same effort.
Yeah, Capcom is not putting in a ton of effort, but THQ Nordic is actually doing a pretty good job so far of covering Switch. So this is great question. Which honestly, funnily enough, most of what they're doing is a lot of ports, but that's just because most of the IPs they have so far is they just bought older games series and then they're re-releasing remasters of them or whatever, and then theoretically they've got apparently like 66 games in production right now, which is probably a bunch of remasters, but some newer ones too.
Who's the parent company of them?
I think just them, because it was THQ and Nordic, and they merged last year in like the summer or something like that.
Where do you get all this money from? Is my question.
Great question. Honestly, I think some of this is just the games that they've put it like they buy a thing, or maybe they're owned somewhat by Tencent too. I don't know.
Because they filed for bankruptcy. What, like 2-3 years ago, like right before the Switch came out?
Interesting.
I thought THQ like was about to go under, and then somehow
this is
back.
A different company. It's a different company that bought the rights to THQ.
Oh, that's right. Yep.
But I'm trying to see, like, okay, so they have a parent company, but it's their parent company.
THQ Nordic AB. Good stuff. So somehow they've got a lot of money. They keep making more of it. They're just buying IPs and flipping them.
They have another parent. Hold on. What?
Go for it.
Okay, never mind. I guess they just
Disney.
It was Game Outlet Europe, and then they changed their name, I guess, or bought or did whatever they're doing with Nordic Games Group.
Gotcha. Yeah, there were a bunch of merger type things that happened there, which honestly is like, I don't feel like we see a lot of those these days compared to how much like in the 80s and 90s, especially like Square and Enix and Monolith, like all that stuff, just buyouts on buyouts on buyouts. But yeah, interesting. But in any case, the news thing is that it looks like, so we got Darksiders 1 War Mastered Edition fairly recently, and it looks like Darksiders 2 is going to be coming. Probably. It was leaked on a retail lister. EB Games Canada listed it earlier this month, and then Koch Media, which is one of the subsidiaries of THQ Nordic, apparently also listed it somewhere. So probably that's coming. And then also, just as a addition thing, last year at some point, I think after Biomutants was announced and Darksiders 3, something with that, Pixelpar on Twitter noticed that on some website where they keep track of their retail numbers or something, their in-store numbers, where like all for those two games, Darksiders 3 and Biomutant, skipped over some internal reference number thing that most likely meant, compared to some other data, that probably that was a Switch version that just like isn't public yet and is in the back end, and they are possibly working on. So all that to say, maybe we could be seeing some cool stuff from THQ Nordic for Switch around E3 or whatever, and it would be cool.
I feel like I have too many copies of Darksiders 2 that I didn't actually want. I loved the first game. I started playing the second one on PS3 and I was like, it's aight. And then PSN gave it to me, and then Steam Humble Bundle gave it to me. I'm like, guys, I have enough copies. Thank you. I don't need another. Thank you.
I think I have one of those. I think it's the first one. I have one of them on Wii U, and I opened it, like I downloaded it, opened it, I was like, oh, fuck playing this.
Yeah.
I haven't touched it. Like I didn't even start the first level or whatever. I just opened the game and then had a realization. It's like, I don't actually want to play this game. I closed it and just didn't.
Yeah, Darksiders 1 felt a little bit like God of War and Devil May Cry, and I love that genre. And then Darksiders 2 took this really weird, like, suddenly everything was more RPG elements and it's like looting and getting new equipment, and I was like, I would be into this if I wasn't expecting what the first one gave me. Yeah. So I kind of want back what the first one gave me.
That's interesting. Yeah. I have not played any of them before. And I've got too many other games on my plate right now, but I have thought about picking up the first one, the Darksiders 1 War Master Edition on Switch.
THQ, say, yo, my guys.
I did at some point, but I don't think I had the right contact information for them. And at this point, it's like kind of too late to bother to do anything with it, but we'll see.
Yo, what up, THQ? I need yet another copy of Darksiders 2. Thank you.
Thank you so much. The last bit of news, no specific transitions necessary. Maybe Luigi's Mansion is coming out sooner than we think it is.
It's not in October.
I know. That's
right.
So that's the thing. The Korean ratings board gave a rating, I guess, to Luigi's Mansion 3. I just stopped at the word Luigi, which was wrong.
We're doing a bad job. America's doing a bad job at leaking stuff. We got to get it together.
That's right. It's
everybody's taking all the shine. We got to start leaking stuff.
Very true. But yeah, so Luigi's Mansion 3 maybe coming out a bit sooner than we think. If it comes out during the summer, that means it's probably not. I mean, maybe so, but probably not as like much of an expansion and like, goes in depth compared to Luigi's Mansion.
The Mario Odyssey of
right.
Luigi.
Yeah. So if it's not a fall game, that's maybe disappointing on that front because it means it's maybe a little bit smaller scope. But also it's mostly disappointing because it's not in October, and everybody knows it should be in October. Yeah, that is all.
I mean, that's one of those things, like, even if you have the game done, packaged, ready to go, you sit on that until October. Because that's
right. Exactly. Fully agree. Put it out on the same day as whatever other game. I don't care. Like,
since when did Nintendo say they never care about that. They will release 3 games of their own on the same week as Call of Duty or whatever. Like, they don't care about competing with themselves or anybody else.
Yep.
And it's been working for them this far. So.
Yep. It's crazy times. So those are the news articles, and now we're going to get into some of y'all's comments. Some things that you guys said and on the video, so you can, whenever you watch either mine or AJ's or Logan's videos.
Let's talk about that. Oh, Dan didn't make a video.
Okay. I was like, I went to look for one, but I didn't.
Yeah. Hey, look, I'm staying up till when it's done. Video tomorrow, or I guess today. Video today.
Video today. Yesterday was your birthday, right? 2 days ago.
Wednesday was my birthday.
Hey,
I'm the only one that said something because you people.
Yeah. AJ was the only one who cared.
Yeah.
I commented on Alyssa's post.
I hate being old.
I retweeted it and I was like, oh, snap, it's Dan's birthday. I gotta tell Dan
at this point in time now, it's like my birthday was, we went out to dinner and then I worked forever. And I'm just like, this is adulthood birthdays. No one gives a shit anymore.
Oh, no. It was like 2 years ago where I uploaded a video on my birthday. And last year, Christmas, me and Bob, because we both upload on the same day, uploaded videos on Christmas and New Year's.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow. Y'all crazy.
Wow. But, it's got to get done. Some people upload videos no matter what.
Well, you shouldn't be uploading on Christmas and New Year's because you're not going to get any views.
That's not true. It's not true. Because people are home.
That's true.
People are home, but they can't. They're being forced into their corner and talking to their family. And
no, they're not. They have an excuse.
Their family takes naps.
Man, those videos did pretty good for what it's worth.
All right.
I mean, you had a lot less competition. That's for sure.
Well,
so that's good.
But that wasn't even a shot at Dan. You know, Dan has a reason why his videos take forever.
My videos take forever because I put far too much time and quality into it. So y'all better watch and respect.
That one you did with us and the fake game or the game trailers.
The weird
one.
Game.
Were you
weird game movies?
And I was
calling us names.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was on the floor with the Bob stuff at the end. Like
I was like, okay.
Very nicely written.
Yeah, hey, look, here's the thing about Bob. Bob, when I told him to shoot that stuff, I didn't tell him to do that end bit. He created his own damn fan fiction.
I mean,
like,
yeah, that's
like, how are you expecting me not to use this?
I don't think. I mean, you worked with Bob before, but I don't think you had like the chance to really work with Bob. Because like when we make a video, usually we're like, all right, we got to do a bit. Like every time we make it has to have some sort of bit. It's not just like the thing of like, this is what the video is about. There has to be a reason why in universe we're doing this video and some type of conflict. And like, you know, like it's a whole thing.
Yeah. I mean, with my stuff, it's, you know, and you guys having worked with me is I script my stuff out carefully.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like everything's very deliberate and I'm trying to get a little bit looser, but with a lot of these bits, like, you know, it requires a significant amount of scripting so everything comes out correctly. And so since we're all not in the same building shooting with each other, like, I have to script it even harder to be like, make sure to do this. Which, speaking of, AJ, you didn't give me enough pause between each line. Thank you.
You know,
because they slowed your ass down. But what was it saying? Video tomorrow. Video today.
Nice.
If it's up, it's the ultimate gaming tier list.
Nice.
That's right.
The ultimate.
I'm going to do a tier list on the internet.
I'm just going to do a tier list of games that are called Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
Yeah.
One game. Done.
And it's B. But I mean, I would love it if you guys filled out my gaming tier list. I can send you it after we're done recording, and it'd be fun.
Okay. Cool.
Everyone should fill it out.
Everybody. Fill it out.
Next up, we've got AJ's video with some comments and stuff that you guys can comment and say words, and we will read those words, some of them, and talk about those words, the ones that we read.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's do it. Also, like hosting or what? Not hosting, but like doing these things with the three of us is a lot harder than just with two of us. So I'm trying, and I apologize.
Oh, you mean like keeping everything on track?
I guess so. Yeah, or like
I
trying
to derail everything.
Oh, I mean, I do too, honestly, all the time.
I like being off the rails. That's why they're always like, yo, get in on the podcast, because they like the nonsense.
Yes, the nonsense is very fun.
I bring all of the nonsense.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, this is our chance to be like, like off the rails and just being us, because like we're really scripted in every other instance.
Yeah, exactly.
But now we just like off the top of the head. Wild.
Actually,
if we say anything smart, you're welcome. Saying
this is all very scripted. I got a script like a month ago. I have this all memorized, including this line.
Logan wrote everything.
Yeah. I do feel bad for like podcasts or whatever that are highly edited and any of that kind of stuff, because like that's a lot of work compared to this is 2 hours of our night of recording, and then like for me probably 30-ish minutes of editing the audio, and then
5 years
AJ,
of editing it.
Yes, exactly.
Now that it's video.
But compared that to like, a 45-minute podcast that's super edited and stuff takes, man, so much more time. And this, I mean, like, it takes me more time to make my 10-minute video by far than any of this stuff that we're doing here. And this is so much more content. So you guys are getting a lot of bang for your buck. Or something like that.
Become a member. For youtube.com/join/actually join that cyber channel / product provided by Nintendo.
What a good URL.
Yeah. And you know what? URL. That's a good segue.
Yep. For the first comment. Into the comments. So so your video, AJ, was on the best online multiplayer games, or the best games to use online on the Switch. Yes. Something within those kinds of wordings. Yes. And Mayas Hazimeh, something like that. I probably said your name wrong, but there you go. I am sorry. I just have to ask this. When you say product provided by Nintendo, is it for real or just trolling Wolf Den?
Yes, it's real.
The answer is yes to both.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, this is true. And his videos, I mean, even though like that was a bit for him, like I told him I had to say it. Like if I end the last video, I have to do it because if I don't, I'm going to get an email that's like, "Hey, you didn't say it, so you got to take that down." And I want to have to take Bob's video down, you know. So that is a thing that I gotta do legally.
Yep. Whenever we're on Wolf Den, it's always a bit about how terrible Bob is and how amazing we are.
And it's not even a Nintendo thing. It's a legal
thing, yeah.
Like this really, Nintendo being like, "Hey, you gotta take it down," is really just looking out for us. Yep. You know?
Yeah. I mean,
and I should say then earlier, Assassin's Creed 3 product provided by Ubisoft, I guess.
I mean, see, that's the thing that's weird though, because not every company.
Oh, okay. Then I don't know. Maybe not.
I mean, Nintendo's really strict on making sure it happens.
Gotcha.
Everywhere else, they're just kind of like, hey, just say game.
I mean, there are some companies. I think it's mostly the big three, like like Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo. Because I know a lot. I know some people that get PlayStation stuff, and they have to say product provided by PlayStation or something along those lines every time they do something, unless they're journalists. Which is that's the gray area. Maybe people like the developers that aren't Nintendo that send us stuff just assume that we're going to do like a legit review and like we're journalists.
Yeah. So I'm a journalist, a hard-hitting journalist. Next up on that cyber channel, is your Switch planning to kill you? More at 11.
Why is it always at 11, dude?
Because no one watches at 11. I mean, I have a lot of good stories about working at a news station, but we don't need to talk about that now.
But what we will talk about is So Animated's comment that says, Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate definitely deserves a mention. The game has a massive amount of content, and it's fun. Should pick up. I'll carry you into glory.
Games.
Capcom,
send me.
Send me too. I want Monster Hunter for my Switch, please. Yes, thanks.
I don't. Like, I'll play for the community. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. I think for that reason, like at this point, I'm sure there are people still playing it, but like my friend that loves Monster Hunter is still playing World, and so like I'm not gonna jump into Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate just to be the only person that's playing it that I know. So I think if a new Monster Hunter game came to Switch, I would play it just to be like, "Hey, Mitch, let's do Monster Hunter together." And he'd be like, "I already have been for 25 years on this one game." But yeah,
I really enjoy Monster Hunter games. I talk a little bit about this in my next video, but like I love Monster Hunter. Yeah, I've never beaten one of their games, which is so bizarre to me.
Like, is that the kind of game that you can beat?
Yeah. I mean, you fight, you kill the biggest, baddest monster, you make its gear, and then that is when you go, I have succeeded.
And you still can do stuff past that, I guess, to some degree.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
I just assumed it was like a even though like now technically even this doesn't work, but like I thought it was like a Minecraft thing, you know?
Like, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, it's more fun when once you get the multiplayer figured out, AJ. But it's definitely more fun to play with friends, and I think Monster Hunter World made that stupidly more complicated than it should. The like Generations, it's so easy. Go pick a quest, get your friends, go out and hunt, and that was it. No, you can't join this mission because you haven't watched the cinematic yet, or like, no, this is just you, and you're like, why can't I just play with my friends? So I honestly hope they go back to more of the original Monster Hunter format. They tried to add a story and world, and it's pointless. I skip it. I'm not into it. I don't. Just let me kill things. That's why.
Now this video is monetized. It's demonetized.
Just bleep it with a coin.
They don't want us to monetize those videos yet because we don't got enough views yet.
That's true.
Oh, well.
Hashtag podcast. Speaking of podcasts, here's the comment that's on this podcast coming at you live right now. Michael Comer. Comer. My 3 favorite have been Splatoon 2, which is where most of my friends have come from and likely the easiest to get back in touch with to play together. Next up, of course, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Although I find it nearly impossible to match back up with friends on your friends list, that is useless someone who knows without having to be friends with these people in real life. Why I bring this up? Because because again, most of my friends were made through online play and without proper messaging system. It makes it nearly impossible on Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Finally, that brings me to Dark Souls. Yeah, I know it's not nearly as popular as the last 2, but if I'm just being honest, I missed out on it back in the 360 days, and once I found out it was coming to Switch, I held off from buying the remastered edition on any other platform. Might I add, again, Bandai Namco has been killing it. All 3 games offer excellent online play and would totally recommend to anyone who hasn't already bought these games. Cheers.
That confused me for a second. The last part of that, I was like, wait, Bandai Namco didn't make Splatoon, but he's talking about all 3 Dark Souls games.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
But yeah, the online thing like that, I mean, that's definitely a different situation from ours as far as like the multiplayer thing, because most of the time when I play with somebody online, it's somebody that either like I DM or text or whatever, which is already the same thing. Right. It's like, hey, I'm going to play this game, let's play it. Okay, cool, let's go online. But like if it's just people that like you played with and then you went on the online thing where you add friends on the Switch itself, where it's like played with and you add them like that, then that's it. Yeah, it's definitely
I don't think I've ever used that in a single game I've played. Is go add a friend that I played with. I don't know. Look, if that's the way you meet people, it's totally great. I just I need to know the other human being on the other line.
Yeah, right.
A bit more before I'm like, all right, cool. You can add me. Let's hang out.
I guess it depends a little. Like, yeah, go ahead.
The thing for me, which is why I changed it so that like every time I'm online, people don't see when I'm online unless they're my best friend on the thing. It's like I just don't like random people like messaging me and being like, "Hey, I see you're playing this game. Let's play it." And it's like, but like, who said I wanted to do that? You know? Yeah. Like, no offense or anything, but like at the same time, like you got to be able to understand that like you shouldn't. I mean, you're not going to want like random people like asking you every 3 seconds to play this game, and you never like interacted with this person before, and you got on to do something very specific.
Yeah. Look, I'm tired. I've been editing all day. I want to sit and not have to think about entertaining another human being while I entertain myself.
Yes.
That's where I'm at right now.
Yep. Yeah, no, so I just don't even play any games really online, period, at all. But yeah, I know. My friend Mitch, who I talked about, he played Diablo a bunch online for a little while, and so he had a bunch of friends. I think like that, Warframe, Smash, and maybe it's just those 3. That he had a bunch of friends where I was like, oh, you've got like 14 people showing online right now, and I didn't even know you knew that many people that had a Switch or whatever. And he was like, yeah, those are all people that I met. I don't know who they are, so I might as well just delete them or whatever. But I guess similarly, it was a thing of like,
so annoying.
You just go on, and then if you're playing and they're playing the same thing, you at least know their play style or something like that. So like you're gonna play it a similar way as opposed to joining up with random people and playing it differently. Like, I guess I get it on that front. But yeah, similarly, I just don't play games online anyway. So especially with random people, that's not really my thing.
Hold on. I just remembered something. I got online and I was just going to play a little Smash because I was waiting for a render. And you want to know who hit me up saying like, hey, let's play Smash?
Who?
You. AJ.
I'm not a random person though.
Okay, that's fair.
I don't have no problem. Like if it's you or Bob or somebody that I know that's like, oh, you're on Smash, let's play Smash. That's fine. But like if I never communicated with you in my life and every time I get online, you're like, hey, let's play blah, blah. It's like, that's a whole different situation. You know, like I don't mind you being like, even if you're like, nah, I can't play right now. Cool. But I have that understanding that like I know you and I know what you're doing. So like you being like, I don't want to do it. Okay, cool. But
I have such anxiety when I turn down someone for like playing a game. They're just like, hey, let's play this. And I'm like, no, I can't right now.
People,
okay,
please.
I don't care.
And then I'm going like, I'm the worst person ever.
I'm not like when I'm asking you that, I'm not like, oh, he better say yes or he's not my friend anymore. I'm like, hey, you want to play a game? No, I'm going to do this. Okay, cool. You know, but I just thought I'd ask because like I'm playing a game, you're playing a game, maybe we should play a game together, you know?
Yeah, it's just funny how much it's totally unnecessary about how anxious I get when I turn down people because most of the time they're like, yeah, I understand you have a life. And most people know that I work about 14 hours a day and they get it.
Yeah.
But like at the same time, I just go like, first it's this, oh, I rejected them, such an awful person. Then there's a moment of I work too much. I need to spend more time in my real life. And then it's like, can't get over it.
I know. Yeah, I know exactly. I didn't have the realization that I could just tell somebody like, no, I'm probably not going to do that until like sophomore year of college. I was hanging out with some friends playing Settlers of Catan, and somebody was like, hey, we need somebody to help out with this one project. Would you be interested in doing it? Like, you can come over to the studio now. It was a music thing. And I was like, I don't know. And then one of the people playing the game with me was like, dude, just tell them you're hanging out with friends and like you've got stuff going on and that you can't do it. And I was like, you can say that? Like that's something that humans are allowed to do and you won't get like, I don't know, exploded off the earth or something. And now I haven't said yes to anybody in 24 years.
How dare you?
Yeah, since then, I'm just kidding.
No,
I mean, I had to blackmail him more in order to get him in my video. He's like, no, and I'm like, well, I can't think of good days.
I'm so much so on the other end of that spectrum, and that's even like I'm usually willing to do most things.
Yeah,
you
right.
know, like Dan's like, hey, can you like he'll ask me stuff that in my mind it's like you don't even have to ask me to do that. Yes, I'll do that. You know, like can you look at my thumbnail? Why are you asking me this? Just show me the thumbnail.
That's the common courtesy we have for each other of like, what do you think of this thumbnail? We both know that.
That's not true. I post the thumbnail in the DM and say, hey, what do you think of this? I don't say, hey, can I show you this? It's kind of like when people say, can I ask you a question? It's like you're asking me a question right now. Just ask me the question.
I just want to know if you're okay with this question.
just ask me the question. So like for the most part where you're like, hey, can you be in this video? As long as I have like a buffer, if you can be like, hey, can you be in this video? I need it by next week. Cool. Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah.
But like in terms of like being able to say no to things, I'm very not bad at that. So no, I don't want to do that. And I don't necessarily feel the need to like explain why.
Yeah.
Unless it's like for whatever reason I may think that they think that I'm blowing them off, which is
right. Yeah.
I think it's better just to say no and not explain yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like
too much reason seems like
Yeah, well, I mean we've been getting invites and RSVPs for the wedding and stuff. And some of them say like, no, we can't make them. We go, oh, that sucks. And that we do that for everyone that just says, no, I can't make it. And then some people say no, and then they have to write out as though we need an explanation or we'll never forgive them. Yeah. And then they give the explanation and now I'll never forgive them.
Sorry, no, I just don't want to because I hate you.
Well, some of them are like, no, we actually, sorry, we can't make it. We know we've had to save the date forever, but we just planned a weekend getaway on your weekend. I'm like, cool.
Yeah.
Thanks. Way to look at the calendar, team.
I am planning on washing my hair that weekend, so I'm so sorry. Like, I know you hadn't considered that when planning your wedding.
Yeah. Hey, I know the wedding's tomorrow, but I'm not going to make it. I just planned. One of them was like, I planned a Disney trip on the day of your wedding. And we're like, Well, that doubly hurts because one, you didn't invite us to Disneyland. We would have skipped the wedding and gone to Disneyland. Like, we would have been cool. We could sign the papers in Disneyland like we had a ceremony.
That's right. Get Mickey Mouse to officiate. Like, it'll work out.
Yeah.
You know what else will work out? Grimhane's comment. Let's do it.
Well,
come on, Grimhane.
No, Grimhane doesn't get it. I'm looking at this thing. This is a novel. I'm sorry. Love you, Grimhane.
Wait. Grimhane doesn't do this on your videos?
No.
This is a weekly thing. So
he doesn't give me novels. He gives me a nice, polite, concise answer.
Oh,
I mean,
so
granted,
nice, Grim.
like, I feel like our videos are more structured for that, you know, where it's like ours are like conversation starters and yours is like a piece of entertainment that you're going to watch.
I just want people to tell me this was really funny and I love it. That's all I want in the comments.
But ours is
no
like,
conversation required.
Here's some thoughts. Give me your thoughts on our thoughts. So Grimhane gives us a lot of thoughts.
Lots of thoughts. And here they are. It starts with, I'm just going to take a moment to brag that I called multiplayer in Super Mario Maker 2 accurately. Thank you. Fair. Okay, with that out of the way, I think it's important to classify what best online multiplayer games means. If it's simply best games with which feature multiplayer, there's a lot of difference than games which handle multiplayer the best. And this distinction sets up a very solid wall that both Super Smash Bros. Ultimate and Splatoon run into at full speed without protective gear on. The list for how both those first-party AAA games, which are very much intended for online play, could improve how they handle online play is staggering. I won't go into the full list here because it's long and I don't want Parker to suffer, and because they've been covered here and there on the channel already. But some highlights just to hit the biggies. In Smash Bros. Ultimate, you can't change the arena rules once arena is made. If only player leaves improperly, it can shut down the arena. In Splatoon 2, trying to get a group into a game can be trying at best, and downright frustrating most of the time in anything but league play or private battles, which yields 0 rewards. Now, I figure the intent of the video was good games which are multiplayer, because AJ excluded the amazing Diablo 3, among others, saying they weren't really his cup of tea, which is fine. Everyone is entitled to their own incorrect opinion. Just kidding. But I did want to bring up the difference between in how you define the question can allow what would otherwise be lacking games otherwise to make this list. One such game is Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate, a 3DS port which very much shows its 3DS roots aside from a graphical facelift by Capcom. It's got one of the best multiplayer setups I've seen. You're able to create hubs for 3 others to join, filtering them by various game-related things, and you can put a password on a hub to exclude friends from having to enter said password. It just makes it so easy to create what you want. I suspect at this point AJ is rolling his eyes because Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate is very much not his kind of game, but because of how it handles multiplayer so well, I had to mention it. As to my favorite online games for Switch, I'd have to say Diablo 3, Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, are the top 3. If you don't see the couch co-op trend there, well, not every multiplayer game needs to pit us against each other. Sometimes it's fun to team up with friends against the CPU.
I don't disagree with any of that. This video wasn't necessarily to say like these are the games that are the best at being online multiplayer. It's that like these are the games that are fun to play with friends that you just so happen to be able to play online. Just because that's not a thing that's normal for Nintendo, you know?
Right.
So it's like these are games that are worth playing that you can play with a friend no matter where your friend lives. I think that like that's a whole nother video in and of itself. That's like online multiplayer games that should be like the standard, you know, just generally. And I wouldn't even necessarily say any of those are necessarily the standard. Like even the ones that he listed, because they're kind of like, I don't know, like a lot of like Monster Hunter, for instance, a big reason why that game is because like it kind of handles lobbies and that sort of thing. And this way that reminds me of like a World of Warcraft game, you know, where it like feels kind of old and antiquated, rather than just jump in and jump out like it should be for everything.
Well, I mean, that sort of type of multiplayer experience is it's going to vary from game to game. Like Smash Bros, like get in, get out. You know, most competitive games get in, get out. That's the best way to do it. But with more of these co-op things, it's like it's better to have kind of these you're not going to jump in and jump out. That
yeah, I just mean like when I say jump in, jump out, I don't literally mean that I can leave whenever I want. I just mean that like it's as simple as being like, oh, this person's on my friends list, join game. And that's all it should be. It shouldn't be this thing that's like, oh, go to the clerk over there and talk to her and tell her that you have this thing. And then you got to do the story quest. And then you got to go back and then say, hey, I got the 3 diamonds that you wanted. And like, I just want to be able to be like, oh, Dan's online. Join game.
Yeah, but so that was Monster Hunter World. Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate is much more just like, oh, so-and-so's online. Join game. It's very much like, yes, you still need to go to another area to activate that, but the setup is so much easier. It's like get into hub, one player goes and grabs a quest, go. And Monster Hunter World needed to make this complicated, like you're all in the same universe, like in the same lobby, but you're not in the lobby. You can't see each other unless you go into this thing, and then anyone could grab a quest and they could start it. And it's like it tried too many things and it just becomes cluttered.
And the thing that confuses me about those games is that like if you're on the same like part of the track, say we both started this game, right? And neither one of us have seen this story at all. And we're both starting together. It has to position it in this way that's like you're clearing this for your friend, you know, like you got to go back and clear this on your own. But like, why can't I just clear it when I'm clearing it with my friend? Like, why doesn't that check off the box for me?
I think they patched that later on. I think now it's like that, but no, I don't understand their logic in about 90% of this.
Which is also I wonder that too. I mean, honestly, I think I only played a little bit of Diablo 3, but I'm pretty sure it was a similar kind of thing there, where it's like a friend of yours. No, maybe you can clear it together.
No, so the way that Diablo 3 handles it is if we all start on the same track, we're clearing the quests together. But let's say you guys log off and I'm like, nah, I gotta keep playing. I keep playing, and when we join back in, if we start at my save point, then you'll complete quests all the way.
It'll like catch you up.
You won't clear the ones you didn't do, but it will jump you up to where I am.
Interesting.
And you can continue, and then you'll have to go back and do those again eventually. I think that's how they do it. At this point in time, for as long as Diablo 3 has been out, most people can just power level you through. You can run through the main story so fast.
I was playing it some, and like I was probably only level like 25 or something like that, and then meanwhile Mitch was like level 70 on a couple of characters or something, and they just came with me, and we went through like 2 rifts, and all of a sudden I was level 67 like in a couple minutes. I'm like, that's seems a little wrong. Just saying, but whatever.
Well, they've improved the end game a lot for Diablo 3. So once you beat the game and get max level, there's still so much left to do. So, and Blizzard's always been good at doing that. Blizzard's always been good at keeping you invested in their franchises even after you've experienced the bulk of the game. Meanwhile, I can only imagine that Grimhane writes these comments by candlelight with a fine wine. Because here's a comment from him to me. It's going to be okay, Dan. You can revive yourself by playing Kingdom Hearts 3. Just stay away from Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories, though it's still better than Vroom in the Night Sky.
So I respond.
Incredible brevity.
YouTube cut this comment off for me in the app where I was just like looking through. I was reading the comments after I was playing the video. And I was like, this got cut off for me. And I was saying that in the sense that it didn't make sense where it cut off. And he was thinking that I was saying this comment in particular was too short for his standards. That's hilarious. I'm like, wait, what? So he DM'd me a comment, and I was like, oh my God. I was like, this comment, I mean, this is like a normal comment, more or less, for him. But it just didn't make sense initially.
But yeah, I think
I like those comments though, because I put a lot of time into thinking about this, you know, and making these videos. So like, I like that people take a long time to like express their thoughts back, you know.
As long as the comment doesn't mention that I need to do a FNAF Fan Games 4 or the fact that I look like Jack Black, that's a win for me.
Hey, did you know though? Yeah.
That's Super Mario.
Thanks, bye.
Just kidding. Nice. Well, good stuff. Those are some good online games. Do them together, AJ and things. Here's another video that had some comments.
Hold on,
These
wait, pause. You know,
pausing.
it'd be cool for you though, Dan, if YouTube's algorithm gets to the point where it's like they think you're Jack Black and your videos get suggested against his.
I guess I just have to continue tagging my videos with Jablinski. I'll
Yeah.
just call it Jablinski Light.
Yeah. And people, I mean, no, just like people just think that because you look like him, it's just another Jack Black video.
Yeah, I'm going to be in the Jumanji knockoff called Jungle Board Game.
Yes. Okay,
so good.
It's a working title.
It's the best title there ever was. If you really, if you piece it together.
If you objectively look, it tells you everything you need to know about the movie.
There you go.
Jungle,
perfect.
Board, and game.
True.
You'll be bored by the end.
Yeah.
And something else.
That was a compliment sandwich right there.
That was a burn sandwich is what that was.
Very welcome. So yeah, here's some things. Some comments on my video. So I talked about leaks and fake leaks and all that stuff because we're coming up to E3 and E3 is fun and leaks and blah. Which on that note, we really still at this point, like we talked about a couple of leaks for this E3 with the Darksiders and stuff like that, but they're not like super huge ones. But it's crazy how few we've gotten so far. Just saying.
Yeah, and E3 is like what, 2-3 weeks away?
Yeah, it's less than 3 weeks away. Yeah, it's like 2.5 weeks away.
That's wild.
I mentioned on Twitter that my boss asked me what E3 not what E3 was, but she was like, "So why are you taking off June 11th?" And I was like, "Well, I'm do a YouTube channel thing with that I help with, and I'll try to explain E3." And she's like, "Oh, cool, yeah, that you're having fun doing some stuff." I was like, "All right, you don't get what's
it's good on. To have hobbies."
Yeah. She's nice and supportive, so that's good. But she had no idea what I was talking about. But that's all right. So here's some comments for
text her and tell her what I said, and she'll understand.
Exactly.
Perfectly.
She will surely understand. Honestly, I almost was like, oh, it's kind of like I tried to think of an equivalent thing for other media, but and like almost compared
it to kind of like QVC.
Like,
I'm sure she knows what QVC is. You could just
I know what that is. What is that?
QVC is like it's
like
the
shopping network.
Yeah.
Oh.
Where it's like this is a thing that you can buy. Call now.
That's really funny. I never thought about it that way.
It's just the movie trailers, but 5 days long.
Yeah.
Yes.
5 days long of movie trailers.
Yeah. And they're all hopefully new. So Amici del Ambiente says it's that time of year again. Can't wait for Mother 3D and Pikmin 4 Louie's Revenge.
I forgot about that whole thing. Louis.
Oh, I didn't know about. Was that a rumor?
No, Louis just a jerk, dude.
Oh, is he in 3? I've only played Pikmin 1.
I think he's in Pikmin 2 and 3.
Okay. Oh.
He's just like out to get everybody, man.
Nice.
Yeah,
we're gonna be seeing some rumors, I'm sure, about Pikmin 4 soon enough. Or the real thing, probably.
There's always Pikmin 4 rumors. There's always rumors about any game that we get any type of rumbling about for on the Nintendo end, where it's just like, this is the year we're going to hear Star Fox Grand Prix rumors.
Yep.
We're going to hear freaking Pikmin 4. We're going to probably hear about another Xenoblade game.
At least I can already curb my disappointment because we won't hear much about Metroid Prime 4 since all that got scrapped and redone.
Yep. What a sad world we live in.
Yeah, but
this is one of those E3s where I feel like, I mean, for the most part, for the past like 3 years, we've known pretty much everything that Nintendo talked about beforehand.
Yeah.
But like, this is like, we don't know what it is that we want to know. You know, it's not like announce this and like I don't really care about that. So them showing it again is like, why am I seeing
I'm excited for this E3 because we're in such a different position, I feel like, than we were some of the other year. I mean, it's a similar position to 2017, but with that one, I don't know. There's a couple of different things. I'm thinking about making a video kind of related to that. So we'll maybe be hearing about that at a later time, next week or later, or not at all.
Or never.
So Decepticon, next comment says, even though there are trustworthy sources, I still try and avoid all news about leaks. I like going into E3 knowing as little as possible. It makes the conference a lot more exciting, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, it's impossible for us to do that.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think the thing is, part of why I wanted to make this video too, to suss out the fake leaks, is partly so that, like, if you happen to hear stuff, you kind of can tell, hopefully, what not to even be worried about, and like what hasn't ruined anything. Like, so for example, the one that I talked about for the E3 2018, where Nintendo Life made the video, like going through it and breaking apart how like terrible of a leak and not good it was that helped me to like be able to enjoy how terrible of a leak it was, because it was just like, it was one of those ones where it's the list of like, here's all the games coming out at E3 this year. But like the formatting was just awful, and like it definitely, wasn't a Nintendo document. So then at that point, like I could have fun with it and not be worried that like, oh, maybe this is the actual, E3 presentation. So
also, like, as people that have seen Nintendo emails, like we get emailed by Nintendo pretty often, me and you, Dan. Not every email that they send has a Nintendo logo and a red banner on top. And, like they just always have that for like that. That's what makes the leaks legit to people, is just that they have the logo there and it's like, it says confidential,
Yeah, you got to realize is that 90% of documents that are actually confidential for the stuff don't have giant. Sometimes they're just a damn Google Doc.
Yes.
And someone accidentally does make it that anyone can see the link. I can't talk about that. Never mind.
Nice.
It's nothing to do with game theory. It's fine, bros. But there are things where it's just like this stuff that leaks are simple, like someone scratched something down or someone like went into Word and just went like, crap, I just need to get this onto paper.
Yeah.
But I mean, for me, I kind of try to do what Decepticon does, and it's a little more beneficial. Like you guys do more, like
it's mostly the podcast that is like the worst part of it.
Yeah. You guys are in the more relevant stuff more often. I'm just thinking about the next stupid graphic I'm gonna do. So especially now that I'm like being torn between my channel, the day job, and the wedding, I have no time to look up anything on what E3. I'm going down so blind this year.
Yep.
All I know is that Sony isn't gonna be there for a conference, but I don't know what that. I mean, I think.
I mean, they're just the only.
They'll probably just do a state of play anyway and make it confusing.
The only real difference that I said, like, for me, I'm not bummed out by Sony not being there because they announced stuff that's not going to be out for the next half decade anyway. So it's like, just announce it when it's ready. I don't really care to know about it that far out.
Right. The pertinent games too, especially like multi-plats or whatever, or even some exclusives that aren't like first-party exclusives, that will just be in the third-party things anyway. So like Square Enix, you'll get everything Square Enix is going to be, if it's not Nintendo exclusive, which probably they'll have like maybe one or two, maybe. Everything else is going to be Sony for sure. Right. So like, don't even worry about it.
I mean, I do realize now that I'm thinking about it, I'm totally pumped for Bethesda because maybe we'll actually get some information on Doom Eternal.
Absolutely.
For me.
True.
Yeah. I don't know if Square Enix should show up to E3 because they don't do a great job.
Yeah.
They don't. I don't know. It seems like they come with so little.
Yeah, I can't even think of one time where like they've done 3 conferences so far, 2 or 3.
I think 2.
I only watched last year's of theirs, so
and it was not good.
It was not. No. Yeah, and I mean, I'm sure they're gonna rest kind of on Final Fantasy VII Remake this year. And
which, like, if that's not coming out this year or the very beginning of next year, don't even bring it.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
And if they just spend too much time on that and don't announce anything else, we'll just have like a, you know, Smash Bros. Ultimate E3 2018 situation again, where except for Dip, even we're just not good.
Yeah.
So
yeah, Square Enix isn't good at E3.
No, well, and I almost feel like their specific audience is a little bit more niche than some of these other ones. Like, I think, well, especially on the Western side of the world, I think like Bethesda does well, mostly because like a lot of Americans play a lot, or just the West Coast, not West Coast, the Western side of the world plays a lot of Fallout, plays a lot of Skyrim. We mod the hell out of Skyrim. Like, we're into that form of fantasy. And then like when Square Enix comes over and brings a lot of JRPG and more Japanese styled games, like I don't know.
I think the biggest problem
I'm
is that,
completely
like,
wrong.
I
I think as I'm saying this, I'm wrong.
They're just indiscriminate of like what they show is the problem. Where it's like, we're working on a mobile game. Let's throw that in our conference. Nobody cares about that.
Like, well, it's because I think it seems like they're moving away from this, but for a while it seemed like they were a company that was like, we've got 3 huge projects and like we're going to show you those projects or something like that, but then not have kind of the breadth to be able to actually fill out a full presentation or whatever. Because I mean, it was like Final Fantasy 15, like here's just a ton of Final Fantasy 15 stuff or whatever, and then, you know, things just keep getting delayed and whatever. So having more things like Octopath Traveler or this new game Oninaki or something like that, like more of those kinds of games to be able to talk about little bits of a lot of things, even if they're not all giant projects, and then having a couple of giant things is like that's the way to go. But
I feel like people are going to be mad, which I mean, granted, I mean that makes sense. Your video is about E3, so it makes sense that we're talking about E3. But like, I feel like people are going to be mad if they don't show Avengers, because that's a big game that they're working on that nobody knows anything about. We haven't even seen that game. And I guess Final Fantasy VII Remake, but again, that's the thing that like we don't even know like where that's at. What I think that they confirmed.
They have said they're going to be talking about that in June, so like definitely we'll be seeing Final Fantasy VII Remake, but still tons of questions.
But like, will we get a date, and will that date be anytime soon?
I see. My thing is like, looking at all the individual developers, like the smaller ones, like, so Bethesda has a conference, Square has a conference, and then, I mean, it's not an E3, but then BlizzCon, Blizzard has their own showcase of their games. And I think about the difference between all of them and why Square ends up being the weak point in all this. With Bethesda and with Blizzard, the fans of the games are more of a fan of the developer than anything else. Like, I love Overwatch, but I don't say I'm an Overwatch fan. I'm a Blizzard fan.
Right.
Like, I'm more tied to that company. With Square, I think just like you're either into Final Fantasy or maybe one of their other franchises. You're not like a huge fan of Square Enix. You're a fan of Final Fantasy.
Or just JRPGs broadly, and they happen to have some.
Exactly.
But but right. You're not like die hard for that specific company.
Right.
Yeah. And so
I think it's an IP problem more than anything. Like, they have a few iconic IP, but for the most part, like, either those don't come out frequently enough, or they just don't reach a wide enough.
I mean, you're either there for Final Fantasy or you're there for Hitman. You're usually not there for you're not usually there for all of the Square Enix buffet.
Like, not everybody that's watching Square, even though like it sold well and stuff like that, not everybody's like, oh man, I can't wait for the next Bravely game, you know?
And I mean, like, and to a certain extent, like when I think about Blizzard, is like, I'm not particularly excited when World of Warcraft is talking about their next expansion, but like, it's still exciting to watch because you can feel the energy in there. So I think that's maybe, and also to that point, maybe Devolver shouldn't get. I think this should be their last one. Make the trilogy, but I think the joke. I realize now I'm kind of over their joke.
I was never really into the joke, but like I know Bob likes their conference a lot, but I was just like, this exists, you know. Like I missed it last year and I didn't care. It was like,
I mean, at this point, it seems like they can only really go for like kind of shock value too, where like it just kind of one ups itself every time. Which, as we learned from Family Guy, at some point that just kind of like dies out, and it's like, all right.
And I mean, like I liked it. I like a lot of games that they make. Like they send a lot of stuff, you know. Like Ape Out. I got what is the game? Katana Zero.
Katana Zero is really good.
Is Grease theirs?
I'm pretty sure.
I mean, that would make sense. That would make sense because I think that was from the same PR rep. I don't even know where I like connected with this person, but like Devolver Digital is like always the one that like sends me a game and I'll look at it and like that's interesting, and then I'll play it and I'm like, yo, this is dope. Like they make stuff or publish things that are dope very consistently.
Like I'm always I've whenever they do something, I know it's going to be of quality. It's just like at this point in time, rules of 3, do your last conference that's going to be really shock value, and then I think you back off. I just from a showmanship sort of thing, it's like, after that one, you're done. You're good. You did well.
You did enough. It's enough.
Some interns got sucked into a computer and exploded or whatever, and good.
I think that's a terrible way to start a sentence. You should never start a sentence like that in 2019.
You should start a sentence.
AJ.
You start it like this. We got one more comment that I'm going to read. Here we go. Striker XL. Hello, Striker. What's up? I don't think the media gets paid to leak secret info, but rather announce and in return get a lot of traffic from people who want to know more about the subject. The context of this, by the way, Dan or anybody else, was talking about the Grinch leak as well, how like people were accusing the gaming media of like being paid off by Nintendo to to deny it when it was actually true or any of that stuff, which is quite hilarious. And then he goes on to say, do you think Nintendo and other companies leak false information to flesh out potential leakers?
I think that if that was the case, then media would be more in favor of talking about the leak. It also goes back to the thing of like a lot of times people are like, oh, like journalists are getting paid off and we just don't know about it because they're all friends. You know how much money an IGN or whatever would make if they were able to prove that Kotaku gets paid off or vice versa, or Polygon or GameSpot or whoever. Like it would be worth so much money if they were able to say like this outlet is terrible and they treat their employees like crap and they get paid off by this company and this like they would get so many.
That would be an actual like just because all their news right now is within the gaming world, but then that would be a like multimedia, regular kind of news thing that's like on CNN and ABC News and all that kind of stuff, which branches out and gives them a lot more exposure and like would be good for them to be able to do that.
And it's like on our end, right? Like we talked about it, the Grinch leak on the podcast, and it was very much so a thing of like, this is BS, but like if it was true, we will be able to make so much content from that to be like, this is coming to the game. How's he going to play? Especially since a lot of our stuff is speculative. So like, but like, if it's so clear that it's BS, it's not worth talking about.
Right. My whole thing is that you all think that coordinating this kind of thing is easy to do, and I can tell you humans are not capable of that kind of coordination.
Nope.
Some of these conspiracies or stuff like this, I mean, not saying that Striker's like way into this sort of thing.
I don't even think he sounds like he's saying like I don't think that you get what's going on here. I think he's just saying like maybe this is also something that we should look into, like a possibility.
Yeah, I just think things like that, it's just the amount of coordination and emails and all that sort of stuff is like we would have known by now. Like someone would have leaked about the leak
Yeah. Or even like the practice, because like how he said this is like this is just a thing that they just do all the time. Like this practice would have been leaked forever ago if they were like Nintendo seeds fake leaks, like that would, again, that's a huge story.
Yeah, and I think whenever you see stuff about Nintendo in regards to leak, and in my own personal opinion, I think holding your cards close to your chest and doing a big reveal is gonna have more impact on social media.
Yeah.
Like sure, if a leak comes out, you talk about the leak leading up to the announcement, and then it just, if the game looks really good, then the conversation continues. But if it looks mediocre, the conversation stops.
But I think this, like, on the same, I agree, but on the same token, I kind of disagree. Because, like, if you look at games, it's pretty much the only medium that approaches their announcements like that. Like, we knew Detective Pikachu was a thing that existed 2 years ago because the film industry is just like, this is the movie, and we're
okay, yeah, all right, that's fair.
Like we're bringing on this actor to play this character, which is like a blatant spoiler in games. Like them being like, oh, this person's in it, that's a spoiler. But like, and in film, it's like, oh yeah, Detective Pikachu's a thing. He has a son. Like we're bringing on, like that sort of thing.
Yeah, okay, so let me rephrase my point. Is that the difference between a well executed tease and producing a fake leak is like a calculated tease is like building up the hype to the announcement to get the big payoff. Like the alternative for the leak is releasing a false leak, is that once the announcement's made, everyone's going to talk about how the leak was wrong.
Yeah. And also a lot of times how the leak is better, which is the thing that a lot of people talk about with our videos, right? Where it's like you're just setting people's expectations too high because like this is going to be like this, like if they like this idea, they're going to be disappointed by the real thing, which I think is a weird argument. Because like I don't get attached to any idea in that way, It's like, man, this needs to happen, or I'm gonna hate everything else.
Yeah, I mean, speculation's fun, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Just kind of shoot ideas around and see what happens. But yeah,
right. Yep. But I think that's like a lot of the reason why like they're so tight-lipped around PR in certain aspects of a thing of like we don't even know if this game has multiplayer yet, like that. Right. A lot of other companies would be like, yeah, it's multiplayer at the door, but like Nintendo will announce a game, be playing it on the E3 Treehouse stream, and we still don't even know, we find out 3 weeks later, yes, this has multiplayer.
It is incredible how, I mean, like Astral Chains, for example, a game that there were absolutely no leaks about that ahead of time. There's just like, it's crazy how many of those things, like just announcements that the closest thing to a leak was complete speculation. Or, I mean, like sometimes some people get some stuff right or know things ahead of time, but just how much stuff gets all the way out to the door with just nobody being none the wiser.
They're just announcing stuff a lot. Like, their cadence is so, it doesn't seem as deliberate, where it's like, we're just going to give you this big info dump. Now it's like, we're just going to tweet Mario Maker's release date. Like, it's so weird.
Yeah, it is weird.
Well, and I wonder how much of it is like, what bits of information do you put on what platform?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if you're going to announce a new game, that's a YouTube, that's a Twitch, that's a video.
Right. Which makes sense. Because, like, as a viewer of Nintendo Directs, just from the end of a fan of Nintendo, like, showing a trailer just to announce a release date, that's lackluster, Like, I'd much rather you dedicate that slot to a game that I haven't seen before.
Yeah.
So, I would prefer for them to be like, and that's why, like, we were talking about, like, oh, maybe they're going to do a direct. It's like to get that stuff out of the way, the games that we know exist already, like to get the Mario Makers out of the way. We don't need to know about that at E3 because we'll be playing it 2 weeks after.
So, like, oh my God, if they talk about, if their E3 presentation has anything about Mario Maker, I won't be able to, guys.
Just don't do it.
You got 1 minute
Yeah.
1 minute of Mario Maker.
I think that's what's going to happen.
Most. At the most. I think they're going to play it during the treehouse, maybe. But
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
I think there'll be 1 or 45 seconds of Mario Maker, and it'll announce a new style that's either DLC or not DLC. Yeah. But more than that, I'd be really surprised.
Announce the existence of DLC in general.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Thing that they could do.
Throw it in a damn montage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just, we all know most presentations include some sort of sizzle reel. Mm-hmm. Just put it in there. I get it.
Yeah. I don't understand. Sometimes they'll do sizzle reels. Like last year, their sizzle reel had mostly games we already knew about, and then a couple that we didn't. And I was like, "Why? Why didn't you put those?" The amount of
time that they spend on certain things is weird. Because when I saw Ninjala, I was like, "Yo, that game looks dope." But they spent we barely even knew what it was. Like they spent a couple seconds on it. Here's this game. This exists. It's like, yeah. Talk about that more.
Yeah.
You know what else we should talk about? Questions and answer, the Q&A that we have every week. And I'm sure a lot of this stuff will keep coming back up as we go, but just moving the truck on along, that's not a thing that we do or say. Firstly, we're starting to read comments from the last week's video, so just going to read some of these real quick. These aren't really topics so much as just things you said.
It was the question that I asked. I asked at the end of the podcast, what's the best pizza topping? That's what I said.
Yep. Eric Henley, our good buddy. The only pizza topping you should have are meats. Toppings. Get your fruits toppings you should have. Thank you. Are meats. Get your fruits and vegetables off my greasy pizza.
See, another thing that we talked about is the fact that vegetables, that's a lie. I think that was a week before.
Vegetables were a lie?
Yes. I mean, I'm not even joking about that.
So many things that you consider vegetables, like, because AJ was saying the classic
thing. Like vegetables are it's like a vanity label. It's
the only things that are vegetables pretty much are like potato. So, okay, I don't remember if we talked about this on the thing. Probably we did. But Dan, I'll enlighten you in any case.
Okay.
If you eat the whole thing of it or like a part of the plant itself, so like for example lettuce, you're eating part of the plant itself, or a potato, you're eating the plant itself, or even like basil leaves, that's a vegetable. But anything where like it's a so like cucumbers are a fruit, and I don't know, peppers are a fruit or whatever. It's things that like aren't part of the plant, but it just grows off of the plant and is a separate thing. That's the way that they described it. And I was like, that is too crazy. Everything's a fruit.
They're just all fruits.
If anything, everything's a vegetable.
No, everything's a fruit.
No, because so vegetable is saying that any part of the plant, if you eat a part of the plant, that is a vegetable. Well, a fruit comes from a plant, therefore it's part of a plant, so therefore everything's a vegetable.
Man, I came up with, it doesn't matter. We talked about it last week. So Dan, you're just going to have to accept that you're wrong. And we made super good arguments last week. That'll show you that much.
Okay. Well, I'm just going to agree with Eric then. Meats and cheeses, baby.
Dope.
Meat and cheese. That's the only thing on your pizza.
Carlos L would disagree though, because he says best pizza toppings are pepperoni, meat, and mushrooms.
A fungus.
Vegetable. Yep.
Fungus.
Always together, never separately, unless you're some sort of monster. I don't think I've ever had pizza. I mean, pepperoni and mushroom.
I'm not down with mushrooms in any form.
Yep.
I'm fine with
fungus.
It's a fungus. Dan sounds like he's been hurt by a mushroom.
Yeah.
Jesus.
They attacked him and his family when he was a child. Lizrin, fruit as a...
talk about it.
We also argued about what fruit was best.
Oh yeah, but I think that was the week before.
That was the week before.
That was a problem. So like we're just like,
oh man,
and snowballing thing. Yeah. So the week before that, I was like,
last time we'll talk about fruits or vegetables. Next week, it's not even going to come up.
Yeah. We're just going to forget. Like all these things are going to come up next week again, and like at some point we're going to forget why we talked about
why we talking about pears on a summer day in.
I mean, Hawaii. Pears came up in this.
Pears did come up,
but like the gist of it was like I don't know why we started talking about it, but the best fruit. It was probably just a thing of.
I think it was that
podcast and me being like, "Hey, answer this prompt." And Parker said that raspberries are the best fruit. And I was like, you, sir, are stupid. And Falcon was like, oh, yeah, they're low tier. And then Parker was like describing like what makes a good fruit.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, that he was basically saying like a good fruit to him is like something that's like a, you know, like a treat, like a snack, like this thing. I'm just going to pick up this gummy, you know, like that sort of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
And he was right. Like, no, you're stupid. And he was like, oranges are too much of like a meal to be the best fruit. And I was like, you're what?
Like, an orange is too much to be a meal? What?
No, he said it's too much of a meal.
It's an investment
of a meal.
Because because it's not a snack to him.
That's right. That's right, is what I say about that.
What?
I'm just trying
orange is too much of a. I can't.
It's dumb.
Yeah. No, oranges are a great snack.
They're the best fruit.
Filling.
It's the best fruit.
If you eat like a bag of chips, it's not going to fill you up because it's not designed to be nutritional. So your body just wants more. Like the reason it's too much of a meal is because it has nutrition and you actually feel good after eating it.
Well, I'm passionate about a lot of things, man.
Hey, look, orange slices. End of a
that was another thing that I brought up, where it's like oranges inherently are snackable because like they're in slices made by nature.
It's provided to you in parts.
Yes,
like it's saying, "Hey, dear human, please eat this in segments."
Yes.
How do you guys feel about being in that echo chamber of incorrect thoughts and processes? Lizard says fruit as a candy, eat a treat snack.
That was another thing he said. He said treat snack. He said like a treat snack.
Like
that was a combination of words that he said.
I mean,
I'm only gonna call snacks treat snacks now.
Lizard says, AJ, fire this man. He's clearly insane. Theoretically, I like pears.
That was another thing he said.
Get out of here.
He said that too.
I did say theoretically I like pears.
How do you theoretically like pears? Do you like
a lot of the time
aesthetically is good?
Yeah. I will stand by everything I said because it is right, and that is all. Grimhane,
I thought I liked you, Parker. I thought we had a bond. Hey, you look like a real jerk.
I'm in pain.
Good. You deserve pain.
Good. Feel your wrongness.
It's great. I'm just relishing in it. Grimhane, it's raspberry relish. Grimhane said, I will only apologize if proof is provided, because AJ, you said we all need to apologize. I forgot about what. No April Direct. Or no May Direct.
Yeah. No, it was
direct before E3.
It was the direct before E3.
That's right.
And everybody was like, oh no.
That's exactly what they said.
Yeah,
typed it out
like that too.
I will only apologize if proof is provided that I said Nintendo would definitely not have a Direct. I think the closest I came to was saying they'd have tons of stuff besides SNES games for Switch online to cover in E3, a statement which, even with the Direct, is true. We still have potential news for Super Mario Maker 2 for them to reveal, along with all the other games we haven't heard anything about beyond the title and release window of 2019. So Grimhane is saying he is right, we are wrong.
No, he's saying that he wasn't part of the crowd that said things.
I'll accept that.
I won't. I need proof that you need proof. I need proof of what you said that I didn't say you said.
Grimhane, if you're not going to stand for something, what are you going to fall for?
Yeah.
If you're not going to stand by your words, then what are you?
Yeah. At least
be cautious man.
At least be dumb like Parker and stand by
raspberries like a fool.
Was that a Hamilton quote? It was. Okay. I was trying to piece together. I was like, come on, brain. Get it together.
Your brain doesn't have enough nutrition because you only eat your raspberries and not something substantial like an orange.
Raspberries are a stubborn fruit. I stand by them to the death.
And theoretically pears.
Pears. Absolutely. All right. Every week we ask you if you have any questions for us on YouTube and on Discord, and sometimes you give us questions. So here's some of those. These first two are from YouTube community, and Gilberto Caldera, how's it going, Gilberto, said, anything related to E3, what games you want, what do you think each company will show at E3, who will win E3?
I think that Microsoft is going to win E3, and I'm not even being sarcastic about that, because they have the most to prove. And we're going to see next generation hardware, which is a big thing for the news cycle, like them being like, these are what our graphics are going to look like, like everybody's going to be talking about that crap. And also, like, they bought a lot of studios, which means potentially new IP, because they need IP to like pin their brand up on, because that works. Says 30 years of Nintendo's history, so for that reason, I think like the most improved category, which is like the easiest way to win E3, it's going to be Microsoft. I think Nintendo is going to have a good E3 because they're going to like come through on the stuff that everybody wants them to have, like the Animal Crossings, the Pokemons, the Marios, that sort of thing. But I don't think that anything that they show is going to like knock our socks off in the way of like, oh, this, I never expected this, know?
I'm kind of thinking, I don't think anyone's gonna win E3 this year. I'm kind of thinking
E3 is gonna suck.
No, I think it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be good. I just think we're gonna go in and be very whelmed with the experience. Like, I mean, if Microsoft comes out and they have new hardware to show,
they confirm that.
They confirm that?
Yes.
Clearly, I've been paying it so much attention, not dying in After Effects every day.
This is why you need to just not use Adobe. Speaking of that, did you see this thing about them forcing people into buying newer versions? Adobe's a trash company,
Adobe, I'm not very pleased with Adobe, but at this point in time, so much of my workflow is built off of everything. This isn't the point. If Microsoft,
everything's the point on this podcast, Dan. Everything.
If Microsoft's bringing new hardware, then they win. No. If they name it correctly, look, if they name it, if I get another Xbox One type of name, I don't even care. I'll take my Xbox out right now and throw it in the trash.
I'm going to hold you that.
Good.
I think the last wild card too for this year is that it sounds like Microsoft and Nintendo are going to have, partnership-y sorts of stuff. So whether that be xCloud or whatever,
Phil Spencer shows up in the Nintendo Direct, that'd be wild.
That'd be crazy.
And with no Sony too, with them working together in some way, shape, or form, it feels like this is the first time that like the super group, where you're like, I like Iron Maiden and I like Metallica or whatever. And then all of a sudden their guitarists come on stage together and do stuff together. And you're like, what do we even do here? So I think at that point, it's possible that it'll just be kind of all around just interesting stuff going on. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. I mean we'll be talking a lot more about E3 as it goes along too. But
yeah, I mean, that would be one of the interesting things is seeing that. Do I go?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. I mean, it would be really interesting to see just like how much of Microsoft seeps into everything else with all these partnerships and stuff. Because if that's the case, then Microsoft kind of wins just on screen time alone, right?
I mean, that's just Microsoft's plan is to like, and everybody before, like 2 years ago when they started on this whole thing, it's like, man, Microsoft really just gave up because they're not trying to get everybody to only buy their platform. They realize that their brand is the platform, where it's like, we just want you to play on the software using the services that we own, like that's all just like Windows. Like that's what made them as a company, is that they're everywhere, like you may not buy a Microsoft branded computer, but the brand that brands your computer is paying Microsoft to run their software.
Yep.
And that's what matters to them in all aspects of their company now. And that's just what their company should have always been, really.
Yep. Yeah. And on that note, Amici del Ambiente asks, would you like a Nintendo Land too?
Sure.
So
yeah,
that's really
I'm 100% down. I mean, especially if it utilizes multiple switches better than Mario Party did.
Yeah.
True.
If it does anything better than Mario Party did.
I think there's a lot of like, I mean, we have, you know, definitely some casual games and stuff like that, but I'm surprised that we haven't. I'm not surprised. I understand why Nintendo might not have wanted to do any of the like Wii line games early on because they didn't want to like rebrand themselves as doing that kind of thing and like being just in the casual market. But at this point, I feel like it might be time to just have some super casual, just fun, only barely branded things. I mean, obviously Nintendo Land's very branded, but not in like one specific direction. It's a lot of different things.
I don't think that they have a problem with branding things after themselves. I think they want to stay away from the Wii U specifically brand, you know, or it's like they don't really want to like deal with it.
But like I feel like at this point they could go back to double back to that niche or whatever that they wanted to make sure to leave behind, because at this point it's like, okay, well, obviously that's something that you have in your arsenal, but it's not your main gimmick anymore, which is tip top.
Yeah,
is my thoughts on that.
Just get us a 1-2 switch that's got much better games and less gimmicks.
Yes, right. And it's maybe like $30 instead of $50, or has a lot better games and is still higher priced, whatever.
Yeah.
Questions from Discord. Patar35 asks, I know just as well as Blizzard that cell phones are everyone's favorite video game consoles, so if y'all have played the Mario Kart Tour beta, what are your opinions? I've played a little and think it is pretty good. If y'all haven't played it, then I guess my question is, are your feet the same size? Because mine are slightly different.
Wait. The same size as each other.
Yes, like left and right foot. Are they?
No, AJ, are our feet the same size?
Yeah, I thought that's what he was asking.
Put your foot up to the camera.
That's too much work. It's too much work.
I'm symmetrical.
Same.
Yeah, looks like it for me too. Unless I start one a lot. Yeah, nope, we're good.
I just don't want to talk about my weird giant left foot.
I thought he was like asking if all our shoe sizes are the same.
105. That's all you guys.
I bet Dan's shoe size is the biggest one.
Probably
because Dan's taller, I think.
I guess.
How tall are you, Dan?
6'2".
Yeah, Dan's taller than me. Is he taller than you, Parker? How tall are you, Parker?
I'm 7'18".
Oh, never mind. Okay.
5'10".
Oh yeah.
Did you play basketball?
I am a basketball.
Oh.
Don't know how that works. Last but not least, Listrin asks, Pokemon Direct speculations? That's soon, right?
I think. I mean, I don't know at this point because usually they do it in May.
Yep.
And we didn't hear anything, so maybe Nintendo was like, "Yo, do us a solid, Game Freak. We need a good E3, so don't talk about Pokemon beforehand." I think they did confirm that Koro is going to have Pokemon information next month.
Yeah, after E3, I think. Yeah,
which is like around E3. So probably it's going to they're just going to talk about it at E3, which would be weird. But I mean, hey,
as long as it, I mean, well, I mean that would be.
How dare you say something bad about Pokemon?
True.
Pokemon or Pokemon? Take that.
Whoa!
Savage burn.
How dare you? How dare you?
Hey,
that's
it. That's it.
That's it. That's all we got.
The last thing.
That's the last thing. But yeah, Listrin, I don't even know. I'm curious about that as well. I guess we'll just find out when we find out at this point.
Okay. So wait, I gotta think about it. Dan, you got a prompt?
A prompt, a question for them?
Yeah.
For if anybody's listened all the way through 2 hours and more than 30 minutes of us jabbering on.
On a scale from 1 to 10, how terrible are Parker's opinions on fruit?
No! It'll never die.
And then like an additive one, just because it's easy. Boneless or bone in for you?
Yeah.
Which one? Let me know. I'll be judging you. Nobody give their opinion because I want to judge.
Yep.
I don't want it to be weighed. I don't want them to feel like they're going to be embarrassed by giving the wrong answer.
True.
Yeah, but there is a right answer. That's the important one.
Yes, just know there's a right answer.
Yep.
So,
that's it.
And is everybody's feet in the comment? Are your feet all the same size?
Are your feet the same size?
What's your shoe size? Do you want to swap shoes? You want to have a shoe swap? Do your feet smell?
Have a shoe swap together.
You want to have a shoe swap?
And then also, just double down on how dumb Parker is with his opinions. You know?
I might hear y'all.
But okay. Goodbye.
Bye.
Hasta la pasta.